I'm under no illusion about what is about to happen.
So bright.
Did it
So
go
bright.
bright when you went live?
What bright? No, I pressed the button.
Oh,
I have a button.
I
He
thought it was
turned on
like
the lights that he didn't want to turn on.
yeah. I thought he had it like together.
No. I could do that.
Where is the mushroom mustache? Are you supposed to have a mushroom mustache? Oh, for Jake. I get it. Jake, like, when you weren't here, there was a mushroom with a pink mustache in your place.
Okay. I mean, honestly, I felt like Jake was here.
Yeah, so much so that remember, half the session couldn't be done because Jake wasn't here.
Oh, he's got you right there.
Are we trying to play up your importance, sir?
No, that was you last week.
Oh, sure. So, you want to tell us what happened last week, Jake?
No, because I wasn't here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you said half the session could be played without you because you were keenly aware of that.
I mean, let's be quite clear.
I am aware.
Very little of import happened that session, so I'll do it very quickly. I was nice to a bloke who then robbed me.
I forgot about that.
Just gonna leave that one there for 5 seconds. Like, I was legitimately very nice to this bloke, and he robbed me.
He got pickpocketed. Yeah.
Next up, the only other thing of import that happened is Tesh got arrested, and the Peridel military said, "Oh, he's one of us. You're not having him to the Arcane Congress," and so didn't off him. Confirmation was received from the Master of War that offing was not necessary, and Tesh gave away some details. The hype train is close. You saucy Twitch chat. Telling me it's close.
Edging towards it for you there, Neil.
And I think that was the biggest bit of import. I suppose it's worth noting that we did have confirmation that there's some sort of soulless abomination hound that can smell out magic and smells and all sorts. That was used to track down Tesh mercilessly through the water, through everything. Like, this dog can just, like, it's like, you know, a kilometer of water. That won't stop me. And so it didn't. And then a gnome dug Tesh's grave. Which he then spent a couple of hours filling back in.
I got to fill it back in.
That didn't make you dig your own grave then. That's always good.
No, the other way around. I got to fill it up.
Yeah, it would have been funny if they made you for all those hours dig your own grave, and then the gnome just came and went, dig it again.
Oh, the opposite of what happened? Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. That would be pretty rough. Yeah.
Fun fact, Shinny, we actually use miles in the UK still. I'm just making it more accessible for our European viewers.
Why do you guys use miles?
Because they're miles better. Oh
boy.
Gonna be one of those sessions.
I don't know. It's obnoxious. It's old-fashioned. It's the same reason that we still have like feet and inches sticking about. You know, like, to be clear, we don't use it feet and inches in any like actual context, but like in conversation, it's very common to be like, "I am 6 foot blah," or in Scott's case, "I am 5'1."
And missed 10.
You know, that sort of thing.
And then I imagine for official measurements, it's metric.
Yeah, like for anything medical, it's all metric.
Yeah, Norway. But when you're half metric and half imperial, it's like, it makes no sense.
Well, we're a lot more connected to like the forward-thinking part of the world, you see. So we're like slowly adopting the metric system, whereas you're like way over there, out of it, you know, in your own little island of imperialism and nationalism.
Little island.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, the new land.
Okay. All right. My brain is not awake, but I am physically here. Yeah. I believe it finished with Tesh's character. See, brain not awake. Tesh's character having had the interaction where more or less
He returned to the inn.
Did with the that guy being like more or less, fuck these gnomes. I hate these gnomes. Hey, you want to be my friend instead? And you being like, that might be cool, I guess. And then you ended up like leaving to go and meet up with your commanding officer to inform him of everything. And then because Jake was too good to hang out with us, we had to stop last week. But I think Jake finally got over himself. I think he was seeing somebody for a minute. Whatever it was.
We did get a conversation with Galen and Tristan where he told him most of what happened. But as soon as he mentioned that the Arcane Congress was going to kill him over what he knew, Tristan didn't want to know that. Didn't want to know what it was.
Go ahead there, Jakey boy. Because you haven't seen them since last night when they kind of went running off and you went running off and things kind of went sideways and da-da-da-da-da. When you saw the sparks flying on the roof.
Night.
You haven't seen them since then. So this is like a really good chance for you to check in and be like, y'all right? You know what I mean? So he's going to meet back up with you guys at the inn.
All right, what time is this? Is it nighttime or daytime?
It is daytime. It's the next day. After that conversation, everything that took place in the hours that he had to wait for the Master of War. By the time he meets up with you over by the inn, it's going to be close to noon. Poor chap hasn't had breakfast yet, so he's going to be famished for like a decent-sized lunch, or maybe he's in a brunching kind of mood.
I had brunch today.
Did you eat brunch?
Yeah, I did.
He is probably going to be hungry. He ran very fast and very far for a long time.
Yeah. It's 7:26 a.m. over here. I have not had breakfast yet. So, go ahead, Tesh. And Jake. I imagine Tristan's going to be there as well. They had so many Bloody Marys over the weekend. I personally don't wake up to alcohol. Not since I was in my 20s. But they had so many Bloody Marys over the weekend.
I mean, Galen would probably take food up to his room because not wanting to be down in public at the moment.
Yeah, so Viggo notices you scamper up the stairs. He's like,
come.
Right, well, Tristan's there, right?
Yeah.
I imagine he's probably still the same room, yeah.
Right, well, Viggo look over and say, he's back. We should find
I should say Tristan we were back in my room already talking about it, then food. So if I saw you downstairs, I would have been like, let's talk upstairs. It's
all right, yeah, sure. I'll follow you upstairs.
He's like, I'm comfortable. And he's like, this is important. I'm comfortable.
So that I would explain basically everything that happened about the what happened after I sent him the message to meet back at the inn, which was basically lots of running until the glitter fell off, then stealth. I jumped into the river at one end and swam upstream out of the city, set up camp where the magical hound found me in early morning.
The hound found you after the glitter. Did it come off before you were in the river, or?
Yes, according
and
to
then you
the
swam in the river.
According to LT. Oh no, LT didn't say it, did he? It was the gnome who said it. No, he did say it. LT did say it. It smelled the magic. So LT Petri Sego, he's the he was the commander of that group, right? Scott?
Yes.
Yeah, he was of that particular small group. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the leader of that group. He mentioned that the hound could smell the magic from the spells on me. the ones I got hit by. And I'll hold up my arm with like a burn mark on it.
The magic stayed with you, and it was able
Apparently.
to follow you and track you down.
That thing wasn't... I'm not sure it was breathing.
Are there any checks I can make? Or is this a thing that could have been wrote about?
I mean, this is not something that your character you don't think would know anything about. Feel free to roll an Arcana check or something like that. Knowledge
if
Arcana.
You say that there's like I wouldn't like if it's a kind of a
Feel
secret
free to
thing,
roll
there's
it.
no point.
Feel free to roll it.
All right.
So what I would say, because ever since it's 29, what I would say is that you recognize the fact that magic does linger on people. There is literally a lingering magic effect. It is common for people to use a fairly rudimentary spell. At least it's rudimentary for, what is it? Adroit? No, a neophyte can cast the spell to be able to literally detect the presence of magic. That's one of the earliest spells that you learn. It's a dangerous spell to some regard, because if you come across presences of magic that are too powerful, it can be blinding and actually even harm your mind. Fully recoverable, but nonetheless. But yeah, lingering magical effects do tend to linger for a while. Sometimes moments, sometimes minutes, sometimes hours, sometimes days. Longer than days, you're not sure, but it's not so far-fetched to believe it could also last for weeks, months, or years. Either way, if the idea that this thing could smell magic seems a little peculiar, you've never heard of such a thing, but the idea that a magical effect lingers after its immediate, like, kind of overt display is not strange at all.
Okay. I've never heard of a creature that could smell magic. You'll have to tell me more about it later.
It was unsettling, but yes. Then, given the situation, I was caught out. I talked to the LT and asked if I could speak with him alone. I had to give up my real name and rank, but in doing so, I managed to secure. Only he saw it, and he ran it up to the master, the MOW, to get permission to call off, well, the execution.
See, well, it's not ideal. It was definitely the right choice.
I only had to give up myself. He knows that there are two others with me, but he did not ask for your names or ranks.
See, did you get any information regarding to the investigation from them?
I'm blanking because it's been 2 weeks. Did I get anything off him, really? I mean, he was. I'll mention that he was willing to enter a zone of truth with me.
Yeah, he seemed genuine.
Yeah,
I believe he was the he seemed to have no like ill intent or ulterior motives, as far as you could tell. I believe was the
only thing
read.
He was disliking, but not in a sense of like disliking us, was just the fact that he knew, because we were here on the Dwayne's part, that like he knew the behind thing of trying to take this place because it's on a river. He admitted that he was not too fond of that, but he seemed to respect us being here and what we were doing. I think I gave him that we know about the sewers, because that was something I had to give him something and tell him what I knew that I could tell him.
They know.
So he knows about the sewers.
Did they know before you told them?
I don't think so. No, he definitely acted like he didn't know that, right, Scott?
Correct.
Yeah, he didn't. They didn't seem to know that. That and the fact that the red light district was where one of them engaged in combat and escaped. Everything else I learnt from the memory fragments I was able to keep.
Sorry to disrupt your flow. You also did inform him that you're a group of 3.
Yeah, no, I said that. I had
Oh,
2
my
others, but I
apologies.
didn't give up their names.
Just
Yeah.
their ranks, yeah.
Oh, that's right. I did have to give up the rank, but not names.
Yep.
See, well, need to keep the rest of the information that we know close. I report it
Yes.
to the River King, and if everyone knows what we know before he does, then it won't bode well for us.
Indeed. I managed to keep what I would consider the most important piece of information. Without lying, I managed to make sure I didn't reveal about Ellis Anton, the guard that we need to find and find out what he knows.
Oh, wait a minute here. Our job is to make sure that the new prince is safe.
That is why I was okay with revealing the sewers and the fact that the sewer entrances need to be guarded. We know that that's how they got in.
What was the primary objective? I thought that was the secondary.
No, the primary objective was actually just to find out what happened. If we do protect the prince, then if something should happen, we're allowed to help protect him.
Like, I'm the first one to say that what we do has to be good for the River King. But another prince being crowned and then killed here, or killed before crowning, is not good for Paradel and not good for the River King.
As I said, that's why I was okay with informing them about the sewers. If they can make sure the entrances and exits are guarded, they at least won't be able to get in that way.
Right, but we're still holding out on them.
One very specific lead that saw the original assassination, or at least parts of it.
So if we go and get that information from that lead, are we going to give it to them?
If it helps stop another assassination, yes. If not, then it's for the Dwayne.
Well,
No,
my
I agree.
presumption
If it is pertinent information that directly may stop an assassination,
I mean,
that should be shared.
How it happened
I
last
agree.
time is probably pertinent, right?
You see,
Depends
Viggo
if
has a
the-
sour look on his face, but kind of like pursing his lips.
You know, fool me once, but fool me twice, Paradel bureaucracy is going the way.
This soldier, this guard, decided not to tell those investigating the assassination that he knew more. He hid that from them. I doubt
So he's a traitor.
Or he saw something that we weren't meant to know.
We?
Others outside of the inner circle.
What inner circle is this?
People involved around the what was the name? Yavaner. There was a lot of things that I didn't expect in those memories.
So you think there's a web of traitors now?
Well, I wouldn't put it past there being more that we don't know in that regard. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm completely wrong.
I mean, if that's the case and the coronation's soon, we need to go and speak to this fella, find out who else was involved and why he's keeping secrets, and then do what needs to be done.
Yes. Yes. I, however, need a rest. At least for a while.
I mean, how long is
But
it
I
until the
agree.
coronation now?
We don't know.
A specific date was never given to you guys,
They
unfortunately.
will know like a day or two before, but
Okay.
deliberately they're not saying the day. It's not going to be like suddenly it's today, but it's not going to be known until a day or two before. I agree. We need to locate this Anton first. and find out if they're even still serving, if they haven't already been caught. That's another thing that could have happened. I agree that stopping an assassination is something we need to do if we have the opportunity to do so. Any information that would help stop, I agree that we need to act on it. But
Okay, so the next step, finding whatever their name is. I don't know.
Anton Ellis.
what I was going to say is, but we should be careful who we trust in case there was a reason that soldier didn't speak up.
Find out what it was.
Indeed.
Get some rest, Gallon.
Yes, and he scoffs his
tonight.
food. Yes. And he goes to sit on his bed and literally just and he's out.
Well, Tristan, looks like it's gonna be a late one.
There's a lot of extra people in a city. Finding a single person won't be easy.
Oh, it won't.
Oh,
Any ideas on where to
also-
start?
Well, a BT should be able to get access to the garrison documents. It should have a list of all active and inactive members within the city.
It's if he has jurisdiction to do so. The question is whether or not there's jurisdiction.
I'll also add,
We're under the impression that
meta-wise-
the Master of War isn't in control here either, right?
The Master of War it seems like he is the one that is in control.
Yeah,
He
one
made
thing I
the
forgot to mention
decision
from
not
the
to have
recap.
Tesh killed, basically.
Yes, he also said, or at least the LT said, I should be on the lookout for communication from the Master of War, because he knows I exist now and he might want to speak.
Wasn't there something to do with the Master of War's own buildings getting torn down, and somehow we got an impression that that wasn't his call? Or
You guys,
something?
you
There's
guys,
something going on there.
you guys didn't know whether or not that was the case. You were like, I don't know. That looks like would you be happy if all the buildings that you were in control of were being ripped down? That's either his shot or very much not his shot. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a call by him or a call against him. Because if it's a call by somebody else tearing down the buildings that he's in control of,
thing, yeah.
it's kind of like you know what I mean? That's a little rough.
That's a not so subtle fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah. That,
Yeah.
Tesh, that was put very eloquently. Thank you.
Yeah, and the theory was that it would come from the very top, one of the three. In fact, we're fairly certain we know which one of the three would be due to the city's status and magic, etc., etc.
Okay. All right. Well. Yeah. So you're suggesting to try and get into their records, which would require revealing ourselves. They know who Gallon is. There are still many benefits of remaining a merchant.
This is true.
Although, if they have anyone watching Gallon, they'll soon realize who the other two are.
You're an alchemist.
Mm-hmm.
This Anton was harmed, yes? He will have been treated in one of the medical centers, probably military within the city. If you were to offer some curatives for sale, perhaps we could get in and get a bit of information that way. It's a bit less surefire, but we know where he was attacked, correct? We know the likely medical centers that he would have been taken to. or we can certainly figure it out simply by walking around the location. Why would you not take them to the closest?
Galen, was he injured? Was he part of the fight?
I can't reply now because I'm passed out. But Scott, for the sake of the memory, was he injured?
Which portion?
This is the guard that was hiding something. Was he injured in any way?
Hold on, the guard that was hiding something. Because you saw multiple.
Remember,
Anton Ellis.
Anton Ellis.
Yeah,
Anton.
yeah.
He was the one that was. So I know exactly what guard he was. He was the guard that opened the door into the fight.
Correct. Oh, was he injured? My apologies.
Yes.
Now I remember. I would say a little banged up, but not necessarily like injured.
Okay. That's unfortunate. For the sake of
to be clear,
we
like,
would have had all this RP before I passed out.
Yeah. But a little banged up, meaning like he would have looked a little worse for wear, but kind of like worse for wear in the sense of, you just worked a really long, hard day, probably slipped and fell while at work on top of it,
It's gonna be a long
as opposed to somebody stabbed you in the face 11 times.
Yeah, so unlikely the sort of thing we could go to find records on. So, yeah, I don't think that's a lead, unfortunately.
Tristan, where are you from originally? Where's your home?
You mean where I was born or where my home is?
Where's your home?
Let me open my map. One sec. Which area of Paradel is this? It might be. Yeah, it's Perennia. Mainland. The
Did you
Heartland.
spend much time in the city?
Not at all. No. Farmstead was nearest Chestertown. North of Osto. A good way north.
That explains that line of thinking. Tristan, I have another thought about how to possibly find out where this guy may live.
Right.
I think Galen said he was holding something back, something that probably shocked him. Now, members of the city guard often frequent less savory establishments, sometimes in their time off, especially one that may be seeking comfort, especially if he's not married. People talk. Other guards talk. Maybe a trip to one of these places may also give us a bit to go on as well.
We also have one we still need to check.
Any disciplinary action was taken against the soldier, or other soldiers may have talked about it, if he wasn't a patron there himself.
It's not a bad idea, but I'm not sure many people will be willing to talk about work unless it gets them some form of prestige. What I mean is, it'll be difficult to do it quiet-like.
Yeah.
Well, you pay the girls for their time. How you use it's up to you. We use it to talk. They get paid either way. Paid a little extra for their own silence.
Yeah, until someone comes along with a bit more gold.
Kind of have to know what they're looking for, though.
It's at this point I think Tris would reach down to like his coin pouch to be like, when he says gold, and like pat it and be like, shit. And like empty it out, and literally like he shakes it and you expect like a handful of coins to come out, and literally 2 silver pieces come out. Oh.
Viggo reaches into his pouch and pulls out 5 gold, and he just gives it to you.
Thanks, bloody thieves. Honestly, you think people have a bit of honor?
Not in the big cities.
Huh.
Right, well. What's the next step? You want me to try and check the hospitals while you take the brothels, or what do you want to do?
Well, if Galen doesn't think that these places, like the guard wasn't hurt in the memory, then a hospital's probably not a place, is it?
Yeah. I don't think he was injured enough to warrant that. More just maybe long couple nights.
So,
well, I'm gonna rest up. That'll get us to nighttime, where we can go check out the red district. Do what we planned to do. Pauses yesterday, and now we have new ideas. As you said, it's probably not a bad idea to ask around. Worst case, some of those more unscrupulous areas might even be able to ask specifically about guards in general, which ones, where they live.
I mean, this wasn't just some common guard. This was a guard in the Yovenhere's palace.
I don't know ranks. What rank is LS, and how high up is that, Scott?
A lieutenant. Give me 1 second. I gotta go to that. It's over inside our. Is it Kingdom Community? No. Where is it? Kingdom Characters. Scroll up a smidge. Nope. Where are you? Kingdom Flag, IKEA, Bloodletting. Where are you?
Kingdom Characters. An LS is a Legionnaire Superior, which
There
is
you
a rank below champion. It's one of the high.
I scrolled.
Oh,
So it's one of the
yeah.
highest ranked
That's higher than I thought. Yeah.
basic soldiers.
Well,
a Legionnaire Superior you would consider alongside champions to be the cream of the crop, probably in terms of your basic foot soldier.
Oh yeah, because once you get
Isn't leading
awarded,
any others. Yeah.
yeah, once you get awarded, you're an NCO, which is non-commissioned officer.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that means he's.
So that mind you,
likely-
that's LS would be what 2-3 ranks beneath you because you're an NCO, Tesh. But 1 rank beneath Neil. Still a respectable rank. That's somebody who's proven their merits time and time again. Yes.
It means that there's a good chance people are going to know his name or know of him, which will help us. It just means it'll be harder to get a hold of him without it sparking things. Because
Not
people will
necessarily.
notice asking about him.
No. It depends how we go about it.
Yeah, it does.
So I mean, just asking about someone, can raise suspicion, but it's also
Probably-
not a source of
Yeah.
gossip at the same time. Like it could be, but not really.
Okay. Well, I think we at least have a start of a plan.
Yep.
Yep. I'm gonna pass the fuck out.
You think, leave me alone. All right. So
He did spend a lot of today digging refilling his own grave.
all right. So it's up to you boys. Do you want to waste a couple of hours giving him some time to sleep? Maybe whatever it is you want to do, or do you want to effectively split the party and keep doing research? At one point in time, you did say that you wanted to go back by the library again, but that was a maybe. You never said that was definitive. I don't know if that was something that you were looking to do there, Jakey Jake, or if you're like, we found out what we need to. Other than that, I don't know, Neil. Like, where do you guys want to go next? Oh, Eric. Hello. Good. First of all, Eric, what are you doing awake this morning? It is 4:54 a.m. Good morning. I'm almost positive you're West Coast. And back to you guys.
I don't see. I don't think I could get really much information from the library right now.
Sure.
Plus,
I mean,
there's
last
that
time you
person
were.
that's there that someone that Galen said he'll show them where a certain book was or something, and that we don't have. So
Yeah. He more or less like lied to the poor
Yeah.
lady. You were doing research about the tunnels inside there. Got some decent information, but nothing definitive. Okay, cool. So where are you guys going to next?
guess we'll wait unless Triss wants to do anything.
No, especially I'm just thinking about the library. Did you look in the library? There may be a level of journalism coverage of the events, which may mention. Of course, yes, there's going to be military reports, etc., etc. But I mean, I don't know. Like, we're at the point where town criers don't suffice, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Because Peridel is so big, and it's an empire. It's not. So there needs to be printed press news for the empire.
Well, to answer your question, yeah, absolutely, there would be stuff like that kept inside the records here. Because remember, Peridel is very, very efficient. They have a really good job of maintaining solid records, keeping solid records of the story that they want to tell. So they also maintain all the important records of history of the kingdoms that they've defeated, of the stories they want to be remembered. So things like news reports and stuff like that are so prolific. Like, let's say there was some sort of printing, mind you, no printing press, and certainly magic isn't of the volume that you would have just like magically printed papers out there, but certainly news that would go out there, whether it be criers having a handwritten thing that they would use to inform others, at least one of those is going to be put into a vault or whatever somewhere to be maintained. It's important to hold record of what was going on. So absolutely yes. And with you guys, I believe I said there were 3 tiers of levels of access that you would have. You guys have access up to tier 2. That's most likely going to be in that tier 1, tier 2 phase. It's not secretive information. If somebody was like, hear ye, that's not exactly, top-notch military secrets. So what would you be looking for in there, Neil?
Well, I was just wondering, it may mention like the guard's name, or it may mention like the, like Legionnaire Superior responded. However, by the time that blah, 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 like we attempted to, this is obviously very journalism from our era, but like we tried to speak with the guards who saw the event. However, the military has declined any blah, blah, blah. If we can get some mention of who he is, where he is, etc., it's better than like just wasting a couple of hours, was my thinking.
Sure. Absolutely. And sorry, which military person were you looking for? I missed that.
Ellis Anton. Legionnaire Superior.
Yeah. So
Anton.
specifically him. Honestly, if you just went to not that kind of research, because that's, if you wanted to go literally find out from the military establishment, that's something that you could probably easily get your hands on, just like soldier to soldier. Hey, I'm looking for Anton. LS Anton? Is he around? You might be able to just find out that way. That's just a basic diplomacy check for gathering information, as opposed to record searching.
And we could try that.
Yeah.
Because he's not like a dead soldier. He's like an active person that's like somewhere in the city right now. So like, oh yeah, I went drinking with him yesterday. I think he said he was staying at barracks, W.
Just because I think that like generating a lead before the evening is better than sort of wasting a few hours. So there's no need to like take loads of time up with it. But yeah, I feel like that would be a good plan, just to at least get something potentially.
Absolutely. Of course. I know you wanted to wait for Tester before you went to the red light district as well. He likes to spend his money there. So why don't you go ahead and whoever's looking for Anton, could you go ahead and roll me that diplomacy check? I assume it's you, Neil.
Yeah, I'll do it. I believe I have an Arrender's Wisdom from several sessions ago to use, and I'd like to use it on this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Which is what's an Arenda's wisdom plus?
+5 in this campaign.
+5. Oh, I didn't add it to that, but it's a +5.
Cool. So
So 25.
So 25 total. That's an amazing check. Are you satisfied with your 25?
I think it's pretty good, and I don't think a luck will necessarily take me over the threshold for like better information. On one hand, I kind of want to find out how much luck we have. Shall I do it at once just to see how much luck, or should we wait to find out?
I actually forgot to ask you a question before you did this. I'll let you decide after the fact because I forgot to ask you. When you're gathering information, you always have the option to try to be as discreet as possible, applying a negative modifier to your check. Did you want
the
to be discreet, or did
negative
you not
modifier
care?
is gigantic, and for this to come across as non-suspicious, we need it to be non-discreet.
Okay,
Because
cool.
it's like a package delivery, he like walks up and he's like, yo, you got an Antonellis in here? Like looks at the pack, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot less sus than being like, hey, you don't have anyone by the name of Ellis here, do you? Like there's no need to suss it out.
So why don't you go ahead and roll me, not roll me, roll me a 1d4, ask somebody in chat to do so.
Well, ask someone in chat to roll a 1d4.
Yeah.
Me? Go on, Norway, don't fail me.
Okay, so with your 25, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind you're easily able to find where Anton Ellis is or where he's been stationed. So he actually is not a part of the original group that watches around the staging area where the illusionary wall and all that stuff is. He's nowhere stationed there. He's actually stationed more towards the outskirts of the city. Funny enough, when you actually find out the name of the barracks and where it's located, et cetera, it's really about 2.5 hours to do so. By the time you actually swing by that area to go look at it, taking another half hour or so for you to do so. By the time you swing by there, you're looking around at the buildings, looking around at the setup. It's an area that's not overly crowded most of the time. There's not like a lot of what's what I'm looking for here. There's not a lot of shops or anything in this region. There is a degree of residential buildings over here, but not like densely packed ones. So we're not talking about tenement housing or anything like that. We're talking about proper houses over here. It's kind of like a nicer, mid to nicer district. The thing that really catches you off guard is this like a decent size, very large building that's over there, very well maintained. You're not very familiar with the city. It's your first time here, right? So at first you're like, what is that building? Then as you start like walking around to see what that building is, you look at the front side of it and you can see the banners that are hanging off the front side. You're like, oh, this is like the embassy, or what you would call it, the guild house for the Arcane Congress. Right over here.
God damn.
Nearby where his barracks is.
Oh, okay.
Fuck. Oh yeah, Jake, I should mention the Arcane Congress at the moment, they very much do not like me and were wanting to, the gnome was wanting to just outright kill me. So
he was just following orders. Nothing personal.
No, he was very much like, can we get these over with and kill him? So yeah.
So his barracks
Jake's
is
like,
near,
I would too.
near there, right?
What was that?
His barracks is near this Arcane Congress place. He's not guarding the Arcane Congress place. Anymore, right?
Correct. When I say near, I mean like there's the Arcane Congress building. Then there's a nice looking a house, like an estate that's next to it, and then next to that would be the barracks. So if Tristan was a smarter person, he would probably assume that whoever was staying in that nice house right there had some sort of link between the two different buildings. So, but Tristan's kind of an idiot.
It's just random Mr. Crabapple. He's been there for 56 years, you dumb. Like, he's not linked to any of them. He's just been there for so long.
He's just happy that his house is now the safest house in the city. Well, that's a good point. Arcane Congress might blow it up by accident.
They're really good with their magic. Actually, remember, you guys are putting this negative spin on the AC, but remember, the Arcane Congress teaches the safest ways to learn and to practice magic.
Yeah.
If you go
It's
unchecked-
okay. It's fine. Go back to your Republican summit. Yeah.
Ah, yes. Safety. Triggers alarm. Insta-death.
Well, you
Dude
know,
goes for
safety.
a walk and actually gets
Someone
killed.
triggered the alarm. What? You mean where? On the building where all the civilians were, sir. Grab the wands of fireball and lightning bolt. Sir, is that proportional for civilians? Yes.
It's like, quick, they're getting away. Like,
Yeah, like, oh god.
oh.
Sir, the glitter bomb's only shown a single individual on the roof. Use the fireball. Sir, the building's inflammable. I said fireball. Like, Jesus, it's just a Sith.
He said, do it. Do it.
The fireball is fully operational.
You think it's a wand of lightning bolt. He's just.
Yeah, like, oh god.
Oh god. Yeah.
All right.
Right, okay, so we got a link. We can go back and stare at Tesh until he wakes up. All right, buddy. How are you doing?
I hate that.
It's one of those things where you wake up and you realize like somebody's just caressing your belly, and you're like, "The fuck."
Never woken up in that situation. I never wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Dude, my belly's mine. It's not for anyone else to touch.
Okay.
So
So you're saying you're not going to cuddle with me when you come to the US? You know,
I'll probably have like
I mean,
like
literally
stand
years
up,
of verbal foreplay and no cuddling.
like stand up, front to front cuddle. But like your belly may touch my belly, but your hand on my belly, and like like when a cat is like, "Yes, I'm enjoying." Oh, that's probably how we're gonna go.
Take my claws in, stake my claim.
You're a monster.
Go ahead.
While sleeping, do I get rid of that -1 wisdom?
Was that from your headache or whatever it was?
Yeah.
You lose that one wisdom drain or whatever it is after a full night's rest. So if you're sleeping for 6 hours plus 2 hours of relaxation around it, that's perfectly fine. But are you sleeping for 6 hours or are you just taking a quick nap?
I guess it depends on the others whether we need to go earlier or
He was
not.
back in about 3 hours, just over 3 hours.
I'm not gonna wake him.
So if you want to sleep,
Yeah,
all the way through-
we're just gonna stand there and stare at him. I wasn't kidding. You thought I was joking.
Imagine Jake's character, Tristan's character. Tristan like hits Jake's character and like holds out like a bag of peanuts. Jake's like, "Oh, thanks, mate."
It's like you guys have separate rooms. You've
I
just
got
chosen
this.
to come
Don't
into
worry.
this one.
I got this one. Hang on, hold on.
Uh-oh. I'm scared.
There we go.
Oh, jeepers. He's going Titanic on him.
Hey, Galen. I thought since you nearly died, I'd draw a picture of you while you were sleeping for posterity.
So to remind you guys, that means when I wake up, it'll be, or when I'm done resting, it'll be about 8, I think, wasn't it? Because it was noon when we were having that conversation.
Yeah, it's gonna be in the evening. Yeah. And
That's good because gnomes actually in the Arcane Congress are a lot like monks. They'll be in their prayers from 8 till 10, at which point they go to bed and then rise at 4 a.m. for more prayers.
How much
Just a bunch of
health do I
boomers.
heal? I always forget how much
you
health I
heal your
heal.
level overnight after you do a proper sleep. And Neil, that same exact accent that you just did or voice you just did, can you just say "I like spoons"?
Oh, which voice did I do? You mean like
Just
the
under
creepy
half.
one?
Yeah.
I like spoons.
I'm just under half health. I'm totally safe for this mission.
Perfect.
Totally won't die. Oh, and as a note, I now have taken the augments, and because it only takes 4 minutes to load the different gems.
The suppository, yeah.
So, they're
No,
not-
no, does he try? Is that what he draws a
Chat's
picture
gonna
of?
believe you.
He draws a picture of you just being like.
Wait, since I get to choose where the gem shows up on the suit, it's going to be on the back of the hand.
Okay.
Oh, Infinity Gauntlet style.
Yeah.
I like suppository though, because I've seen what happens with those gems. Like that gauntlet, that can be pulled off. Suppository. I imagine the Avengers trying to get the gems off.
You can imagine
Send
exactly what that
that man.
nano glove can do. It's like.
It really changes that final scene when you
Right.
imagine that all the gems are suppositories.
You just see like Iron Man's hands clasped around what's his face? Thanos' like
Thanos.
forearm, but like one finger is just like.
The Ant-Man tactic. Oh boy.
Oh no, Ant-Man!
That's what I said.
I'll get it.
Oh god.
Oh Jesus! All right, back to the game. All right, so you get Jesus.
He's broken. He's gone.
Just imagine poor Ant-Man being in there and the jokes he'd make. You know, anybody want grape juice? Like, anyways.
God.
So, he wakes up so you guys can start enacting a plan as opposed to discovering one. Go ahead.
We would obviously inform you what we found in terms of the barracks he's likely staying at. I would also explicitly mention its proximity to the AC embassy, just because, you know, I want you to suffer. No, I want you to be aware of the...
Yeah. Interesting. Then one thing we could do is maybe wait for him to go on duty, but we would have to know, or you two would have to know what he looks like. And know where he's going to go on duty is probably the other thing. Going into those barracks next to the Arcane Congress is dangerous. For me, at least.
I'm not sure it's dangerous unless we do something that breaks the law. Remember right now, the Master of War spared you. If they were to disobey that order, they would be disobeying an order from the Master of War, which likely would cost them their heads as well.
You're not wrong. Okay, well...
God, do I know anything about how chain of command would work with the Arcane Congress? Because they're not Paradel, they're Eustace, right?
Correct.
They're
Well,
their own-
neither.
you know what I mean?
They're their own entity. They're almost
In
guild.
Eustace.
Yeah, but yes.
They
So-
run Eustace. So let's be real.
As we saw,
That's quite the accusation.
from Tesh, what Tesh said, they work as a paramilitary force that attaches to military detachments,
Yeah.
but they don't seem to hold a rank of their own unless they're explicitly put in charge by the military. So that gnome was clearly the specialist in charge of everything to do with
That's
magic,
true,
etc. However, that guy was what, an LT?
Yep.
Yeah, he actually
So
managed to-
relatively the second lowest rank of officer, and he still was able to command the gnome to stop because he was in charge.
Not only that, he was able to command the gnome to do the circle of truth and
Yeah.
walk away.
Mhm.
So
As far as like disciplinary action would go, though, the AC would handle internally, right?
Ask that one more time. As for the
disciplinary.
Disciplinary action?
disciplinary
of their own people, they would be internal. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
So
very
they would
unlikely
probably
that they would
report it
be-
to someone in, you know.
Yeah, it's very unlikely they would be they'd be disciplined by some other nation, right? Like that. Imagine like, you know, a handful of British troops hanging out in an American camp, and then being, disciplined by the American commander, right? They would have their own commander that would handle it, that works in conjunction with, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it'd be internal.
Yeah, okay, so it's internal, but it is probably worth noting that in the same way that the Arcane Congress can apply pressure to punish a soldier who they feel transgresses, vice versa
You'd
can
apply
also be
pressure.
done.
Yes.
Yeah,
Pressure,
of course,
yeah.
yes, of course, yeah. If a prince turns around or one of the three turns around and says, no, it's not happening. But like, imagine, say, I don't know, a lower ranked commander, a battle tactician, one of his soldiers falls foul. Like he can be like, I really don't want to, but the Arcane Congress is applying such pressure,
Yep. It's how it always works. It's always political pressure. So continue on. How do you want to approach this?
You know what he looks like, right, Galen?
I do, yes.
I mean, why do we need to go to? We don't need to go to the brothels anymore because we know where he is.
No,
Yeah.
that's true.
I mean, you literally know what he looks like. There's a single entrance and exit, presumably, or a main entrance/exit side because of how this district is. It's a residential district. They will have, this is the entrance/exit for the barracks for horses, etc., etc. If they have that sort of thing. Any carriages coming in and out, that sort of thing. You could literally hide in an alleyway like the creep you are and watch. And literally wait for this soldier to come out. The difficult part then is we need to persuade him that this individual, we need to persuade this individual that we are the people to be trusted with this knowledge.
Yeah. Well, the first part of that could be that I find out where his post is, because it might be.
So you could wait until he comes out and then follow him to work, and then
that way we would know
in.
the route. So we could probably get him on his way back. Like, we'll talk to him on his way back. That sort of thing.
I would have thought, because of where it is, it's likely that he's either been moved here as a concession for the fact that he suffered watching the prince died, as a punishment for the fact that the prince died and he did not get banged up in the scenario. Which, if it is a punishment, it could be guarding the AC.
That's true.
Or simply because he's guarding the AC and the locale is right next to it.
Not
that Triss would say any of that, because Triss is...
No, it's that I understand.
It's a meta conversation for what the other smarter characters realize. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I have an idea on how to get him to trust us to an extent.
Okay.
But how to get him to talk to us?
Well, trust is the first step. If he trusts us, he's more likely to talk.
So what's your idea?
We should probably see what his mental state is like. But I mean, you could open up to him to a certain extent as part of, like, your group is hunting the people that killed the prince. I mean, you're close to this.
That's true. I could.
Yeah, anything he says could literally save your friends' lives potentially.
Yeah.
I thought you said his Menel status then, and I was like, what does his citizen status mean? And then I was like, oh, right, mental, yeah.
And so in that
like,
case,
what, are you offering him an upgrade to a first?
I could straight up approach him as Galen with my rank and all and ask to talk to him.
Sure.
Potentially, yeah.
That could work.
Sure. Or you could, I mean, there is an ethical consideration here, but like, you could speak to Petri, who would have the rank to ask him to come to a meeting for a period of time, or direct you in a respect, or you could speak to him under his authority in a respectful manner. But the problem is that Petri's probably already tenuously close to being in trouble for his appropriate yet disrespectful treatment of an AC gnome. So it might get him in more trouble.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, you do outrank this guy, to be very clear. You do have
Yes.
you have the rank required to order him to do what you want. As long as you
Yeah,
display
ordering
your...
him is probably not the right way to go about it because as
I would agree.
we need to get him to trust us.
He needs to think that you're
Could you-
excellent, not excellent.
Could you commandeer an office in that building that you're a part of, that nobody's there apart from a secretary at the moment, and ask for him to come there?
Drag a
what
couch
was that?
in.
He's talking about what's her name's place, Jim Mollis's place. Could you like use an office there or something like that?
And it's established in the city anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I would say probably not.
It's not a military building, is it? I mean, I know it
Yeah,
is, but there's no like banners displayed out. It's literally, it's just, oh yeah,
a lot
that's
of the
a building.
stuff inside is stuff that people aren't supposed to know.
Yeah.
But that is a point. This is a barracks. You could ask to use an office in the barracks. Like there will be offices in there. There will be spaces for meetings, etc. Not many of them probably because it'd be a relatively small barracks, but that is if we wanted to go about it this way. There is an argument that I think actually like just speaking to him on the street, if you're able to roll well and gain his trust in that first instance, you will gain more trust by being separate from the system than if you bring him into an office.
Yeah, I would agree with
environment.
that.
But you have to roll well, Tesh.
Yeah, and I don't have good diplomacy at all. So that might be one of the cases where if I can find out his route, we talk to him together because I don't have good diplomacy. So someone else might have better. But then that would also give revealing your guys' ranks and names rather.
Well,
Yeah, I feel like apart from like if you take out your diplomacy ranks, I feel like you're the best suited for this conversation. Like I said,
Yeah.
I feel like he's more likely to open up to you, especially because you have intimate knowledge, having seen the events unfold. You know what I mean? So in your head, you know exactly what happened. You know, the look on his face, everything. You know what I mean? We could, you know, do it to an extent, but you're...
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, outnumbering is a good way to... Yeah, that's a very good point.
Well, of course he's going to be nervous already. He's literally holding out information.
That's true.
All right,
yeah.
so I think what we should do is let's see if we can get sight of him first. Right? So we don't know what he looks like, so Gallon's really going to have to be on the lookout for him.
Yeah, and the good thing is I just slept, so I can wait out the night if needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. You're in night owl mode.
Yep. just flipped the internal clock.
If only it worked that easily.
I know,
does
if
not.
only.
It does not work that way.
So yeah, I guess I'm gonna go to the area and find a place to post up.
Okay. And you're specifically trying to look out over in that region for what's his face, the not the lieutenant tactician that you had.
Anton, Ellis Anton.
Yeah. So you're looking for the Legionnaire Superior Anton. Gotcha.
Yeah, I just want to know like when he goes on duty, I'll follow him to where he goes on duty, so we know his route. Then we can next part is talk to him on that route at some stage.
No problem. So when you're over in that area, looking around trying to find this person, it takes a minute for you to actually be able to, recognize what they look like because you have this one memory. You know what I mean? And granted, you of course did to the best of your ability use your auto hypnosis to try to memorize stuff. So you can commit the entire thing to memory. So you're seeing through somebody else's eyes, perspective, memory, so on and so forth, and then trying to fog that into your own. So I do still need from you a perception check, but also don't forget to do a stealth because you're trying to be a sneaky boy and not be noticed as being a creepy boy.
Yep. Okay, so let's do perception first. Okay, so that's not too bad. And then stealth. That's better.
And are you happy with your stealth result?
You know what? I'm gonna roll luck given the Arcane Congress is nearby.
Ooh,
Ooh.
that's pretty solid.
Oh, but one dice left.
Actually, it's
That's
two dice.
solid.
Two dice left. There was one more.
Okay, cool.
Added an hour ago that I didn't notice. Just noticed right now. So you actually do stay there for several. You're talking about Night Owl, huh? You do stay there for several hours, and you don't. I mean, you at one point in time did see him go in and out of the barracks and whatnot, but you didn't really recognize it at first with the armor and whatnot that they're wearing, because it's the shape and everything of the helmets. You don't necessarily notice them from the profile view, because the helmets that they have over here, because this is like an area of active war. So the uniforms and everything that they're wearing are to be more prepared in case of an actual battle needs to take place. So when you're like on duty and walking around even just the city, yeah, you got your friggin' helmet on, which does come down low and along the jawline to deflect blows and whatnot, right? So you didn't really notice them at first. It wasn't until later on when they're in their more relaxed clothes that, still says that they're military on duty, but maybe not.
They might have something to go
actively.
for recreation.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So I was going to saying, so this is later on when their like armor is removed, but they have like their Under Armour bits or whatever. You see that they end up walking out with two others and are having kind of conversation with them. One of them is lighting up like a hand rolled cigarette or whatever as they start walking down the street to probably head to a pub or whatever it is. But yeah, you've been standing here for literally hours because you have a camouflage ability. You're able to do so without creeping too much, being too creepy. Not too many people standing there and being like, what the hell are you doing here? You don't belong here. So anyways, you see them walking down the alley, a street, likely heading towards a pub. I imagine you go to Tail.
Yep.
In tailing, that's not a stealth check so much unless you're sticking to the shadows and the skies. That's more of a deception roll as you're just following them without
Yep, that's fine.
Or I should say bluff check. Following them without
Yeah. That's okay. Okay. +6. So that's okay. I'd say that's pretty decent for just following people to a pub.
I won't lie. Modern day campaigns, if you're playing a stealthy-esque character, it's worth it to have your character smoke cigarettes because it's always less. It makes sense when somebody's just standing on a corner, just sitting there and like smoking a cigarette. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, why the hell is that person standing on the corner? What are they doing? I suppose texting on their phone, but you don't want to do that somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Now, see, you have them play Pokemon Go.
No, he's truly retro. What was that game that came out before Pokemon Go, made by the same engine? Talking about you had to walk around and like save it was like Black versus White or something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I have an idea of what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like a truly retro person. Because then they can engage with you in conversation. Like, no, not Pokemon Go. Before Pokemon Go. They start like rattling it off and you're like,
okay.
Yeah. What did I get into? Then they finish it off with, but I do fuck around with Witcher, I won't lie. And so anyways, you go following after them again, being pretty discreet. They don't seem to be looking back. Maybe at one point in time, one of them looks back at you out of like an instinct, but you don't think you really catch their eye or their mind in any more cognizant way other than they noticed you and you fell out of their brain seconds later. They end up pulling into a pub, a tavern that's nearby. And it's just by the looks of this place, hearing the rowdiness, seeing other people standing outside, you can tell this is a place that a lot of soldiers would go post up into as well. Like you can see there's a couple of others that they say hey to as they're walking into the place that are similarly dressed in their armor is removed, but they have their undergarb that suggests they're soldiers. But civilians there as well. So when you go walking over, do you just go walk right into the tavern as well? Just a minute or so behind?
Yeah. I mean, realistically, that's the best idea in terms of seeming normal, and also just if it's a soldier's tavern, that's perfect.
Yep.
I can just go straight in.
Okay. So you go walking in as well. And again, you're not dressed in your soldier's garb because you're playing as Bluey or whoever you are at the moment.
Bandit,
my apologies, at the moment. So you go walking into the establishment as well, and inside it's actually pretty busy. Like it's not like it's actually bustling in this area. especially considering the fact that I told you this is not a densely populated spot. Well, we haven't seen Percy in forever. Percy's still
That was
alive.
adorable.
Wow.
Sorry, distractions.
Yeah, no, you're good. Percy in his favorite spot. So, anyways, what was I saying? I got distracted.
It's actually pretty busy.
It's actually pretty busy when you're walking in there. So it's one of those places where you open the door and you walk in, you're like, oh, as you have to make your way over to the bar to order a drink, which of course, one of the first things you're doing is you're going straight to the bar to order a drink, right?
Oh yeah.
But
100%.
the fun thing is when you get to the bar to order a drink, it's also that that typical you're waiting several minutes before you get their attention to actually order, beer. You know what I mean?
That works well for me. That means I can look around for the person ordering, or saying, like, people would want to distract themselves while they're waiting for a drink. They'd look around and see what's going on in that.
Exactly that. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
Thank you.
During Eric's bachelor party or stag party, whatever you call it, Tesh, he had to, at a bar filled like this, had to thumbs war with somebody. More to it than that, but the short version is...
I get...
No, you were saying he had to challenge somebody to a thumbs war. Yeah.
I like that. That's I like it.
It's pretty funny.
I don't know. It's just it's a great way of solving a dispute.
Yeah, it was funny because like the guy that was doing, he's like, yeah, hey you piece of shit, or whatever he said, get over here. And then Eric stood up for like the next 3 minutes as the guy who was like a very confident 6'1", like he's a thin 6'1" kind of guy, looks and goes, oh, that's a bigot. It's just always funny whenever Eric approaches, because people's like, you're double the human I am, like. Anyways, so you go looking around the establishment, and you definitely see where he posts up with several others. You can see he joins up with a few other people that are definitely drinking as well. So it's like over like a corner spot, like, we got our favorite spot. One of those scenarios, like when you go to a pub with, like, look, I got here right after duty, armor still on. Luckily, my friend came by and took my armor and brought it back to the barracks for me. We didn't get in trouble. Like I held the spot the entire night for us. So he joins up with a group of, it's probably like 8 or 9 people that are definitely drinking over there. A couple others might be joining them or whatever it is. You can see that all of them are military, except for one that definitely looks like a civilian, maybe a friend from childhood or now out, or whoever it might be, right? But they're definitely posted up over in that corner, and gives a suggestion that they're going to be sitting there drinking for a while. Eventually, the person takes your order, you order a beer, whatever it is, they hand it to you. What's your plan or tactic from here?
Honestly, given the situation, my best bet, I think, is just to treat it like a normal night at the bar for now. Wait until, if anything happens with them, maybe once they all file out, I can go home and either wait again to see when he goes on duty, now that I have a better idea of him, or if I can just there might be a situation with regards to them drinking that I can bump into them.
Kidding me? Bump into them? They're drinking. What is the number one thing? So if the number one thing you're doing is drinking, what's the number 2 thing you're doing?
Restroom.
Absolutely. So you're definitely going to be making frequent piss breaks. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes. Neil's not here. If he was, number 2 thing he does when he drinks is creep on people. But in this case, number 2 thing is visiting the restroom. So you can definitely wait a while, and you'll see that there'll be periods of time as he's going in and out of the restroom. I don't know if you want to stand shoulder to shoulder with him at the urinal, but
No, I more meant like
one of those things like.
Oh, here is an idea. This is something that I would have. No, there'd be no identifying thing in the paper that they found in the news about the event given him. There'd be no way that anyone would be able to tie him to the being one of the guards at the assassination, other than if he actually had his name and rank visible, right?
Yeah, sure, but she does not. But also, not necessarily everybody that was stationed there that day is supposed to talk about that they were being stationed, right? Because you'd want to kind of keep that to yourself, otherwise you get badgered for You gotta put a
Yeah, I'm
lid
trying to
on
think of a
leaks of
way I can-
information.
Yeah, I'm trying to wonder whether it's worth using the just being at the bar to sort of bump into him to then be able to approach him later easier. Because I'm definitely in obviously more casual attire, but is there anything that would be definitely showing that I'm not a soldier? If that makes sense. Just I don't know about the sort of like way people dress in Paradol, and
I'm not sure what you're
basically,
asking. Sorry.
if I were to bump into him here,
Yeah.
but and then later on show up wearing my full regalia and everything, it would be strange that I wasn't wearing anything in
No.
this place, right?
No, most of the people here,
cool.
again,
Yeah.
yeah. Especially since you're not technically on duty, why the hell would you wear your garb? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm wondering if I can like bump into him and just
You are.
by accident and be like, oh, sorry, look, let me cover that drink for you, sort of thing.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that is definitely a bluff check.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I want to try and do, just to at least have like a he recognizes me, I recognize him, sort of thing for later.
Yep.
To make that approach later much less of a thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to try and do that. Oh, that's I'm gonna luck that because this is an important one. Oh, 14. Ah, yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
The first one was to see whether or not they recognize that it was a thing. The second one was to see whether or not if their friends recognize it, because one of them would be like, "Hey, what the fuck, bro?" You know, like.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that makes sense.
But so the second rule was for the friends as a collective.
Yeah.
But
So
no, everything went over well.
I would like to say when this would have happened, it'd be the sort of thing
So you
when
bump
he's
into them.
around.
They literally were like, yeah, exactly, grabbing like a drink for maybe them and like two of their friends. So they're walking over like two drinks in one hand, one in the other. You bump into them, end up splashing like the whole bit on them. So it's like the beer is like all over their wrists and hands, a bit on their pants, and like,
yeah. I'm so sorry. Here, let me cover that. And I'd be like, go to the bar, just like round for them on me.
Because you did bump into him and you're playing it off as an accent, so on and so forth, but you're also just trying to play it down. Like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. Roll me a diplomacy check as well to smooth it over.
Okay, cool. That's fair. Hey, that's not terrible.
Are you happy with your 12, knowing how diplomacy works?
Well, given that, like, it looks
You're also
like
buying
an
them
accident.
around. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm buying
you're
them
not just going,
around.
My bad, bro.
It looks like an accident. I'm buying them around. I think hopefully 12 is enough to at least like alleviate that sort of thing. You still have that like, I'm covered in drink, but okay. Sort of, you know, at least he's buying them around.
His response with that failure by, I think 11 or whatever it is, because it's based off starting attitude, which since you just bumped into him, spilled beer all over him, is unfriendly. And then charisma modifier on top of that. So anyways, when you do that, it spill all over him. He's like, yeah, you're getting the drink, asshole. Watch where you're going. And then we'll kind of like turn to walk back and like look back several times at you as he goes to put the beers down.
You know what? I have an idea about how to make him feel bad for that, which will make conversation better later.
I am gonna his beer.
No. I'm gonna tell I'm gonna hand. How much is a round of drinks?
I mean, you're buying cheap shit, so a couple silver each.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I'm gonna like hand a couple gold over and say just cover them for how long they're here.
Okay. Oh, okay, sure. So
and then I'm gonna leave. So then they realize that it's covered, and then hopefully that gives like a better impression later.
Okay, cool.
It's like gonna be like, oh, I should have called him asshole, sort of thing.
So exactly, like, oh, okay, if he remembers it. So anyways, you leave the bar for the night. Now, what's your plan from here? Because obviously that was just to find out where they go, make sure it's them, point of contact, recognizable. But what's your plan from here?
Okay, well, I could go back to my original spot and try and find out where he works, but honestly, grabbing him, because grabbing him on the way back from work, he'd be tired. On the way to work, he'd want to be getting there. But I guess if I've got rank, if I pull him aside when he's on his way to thing, that's not a big that's not a big issue.
I mean, you're not his commanding officer, but
I guess that's true. I personally don't know. Galen would more know if someone would be more annoyed to be diverted for a bit on the way to or way home from work, depending on how that would work with their superior officer and stuff.
I mean, you could just do whatever you think is more convenient. Don't worry about that. You know what I mean?
Okay. Then I think we still need to figure out where he goes for work, which I know he's about to go pass the fuck out now.
Yeah.
So I could probably go back and rest and come back and
creep on him
try
some
and
more.
Keep an eye out again.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. So you go pass out for the night, come back the next day. I don't know if Tristan and Viggo are doing anything else, but definitely you can come back the next morning and try to watch out. So same thing, perception check and stealth check for this.
Cool. Let me put on suit and stuff. I got to change all my modifiers. Sorry, real quick, because I keep turning them on and off. Okay, perception and stealth. Oh, that was not good for either. That was really not good for either. Did that stealth have my modifier? It did. Stealth is the important one to luck, I think. Fuck. Is 15, even if I do get max, is that going to make a difference, do you think, Jake?
I don't. It depends. I mean, you can use luck if you want, but I mean, taking the L is also really bad in this situation. Like, he may see you. We want to talk to him anyway. You know what I mean?
The good news is, if he, I guess that's true. I'd be decent.
You can if you want. I mean, it's probably going to be an active perception check from him, so he's going to have whatever modifier he has. You could still get one over. So yeah, that's your decision.
It's a hard one because okay. Actually, this could work because if he's leaving and seeing me, it would be when he's on his way to the thing. I could just straight up be de-suited, and if he comes up to me, just just do the meeting. Unfortunately, I don't have diplomacy, but
yeah, I mean, it depends. If he's on his way to where he's got to go, probably have to wait till after. But if he's returning or something, you know what I mean? It could be his day off. Probably find that out. You know, if he gets that, find that out. Don't stress over it too much, because at the end of the day, we want to talk to the guy, whether it's a friendly conversation, you know what I mean, or one that's true. A bit more serious.
Okay, so yeah, just I'm the weird guy waiting outside the barracks, I guess.
Okay, so the concern wasn't whether or not he noticed you. The concern was whether or not someone noticed you. So you
take the shot.
You definitely got noticed. And unfortunately, while you were actively looking for this one person, you did not notice that person noticing you, as they have their own, somebody posted, staring at the barracks from across the way for hours is not exactly a safe or normal thing, especially if they have a camouflage on them that makes it so if they are noticed, they're stand out a little bit more. That's unusual. They're literally color changing to stay posted there. So at one point in time, you actually have a couple of soldiers are actively walking towards you. It's one of those things where you're like, are they coming this direction or are they coming towards me? Oh shit, they might be coming towards me. Let me and you turn around to go back down the other way in the alley, and you see there's another person posted down the far end of the alley that would see if you were heading that direction instead. And you're like, oh shit, there's definitely they're coming for me. Okay, and so you have to make the decision. 3 soldiers walking towards you at the front. There's one at the other end of the alley, backside, looking to see if you go heading that way. What do you do?
I go up.
How do you do this?
I have climb speed.
Oh no, my PTSD is kicking in.
No, I'm just like, not again.
Each one of them's got a 1, like one of them's got a 1 to 5, or the other one's got a 1 to lightning.
So go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, if I quick swap to
What are you
climb.
switching to climb?
Are you in your
brawn, so I'm
suit?
getting rid of strength. Huh?
Are you in your suit?
Yeah, that was the unfortunate thing. I get stealth bonuses in my suit, so.
Oh.
So in this case, I'm gonna have to just, if I go one way, I run into the guard. If I go the other way, these guys are showing up.
I mean, if you run, you look guilty.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The thing
You
is,
know.
they saw me in my suit, so I can't just drop it and
I
then
suppose,
be like,
yeah.
So you're going
I mean,
up?
does that mean you were just walking
you staying?
around with your suit?
No, I was trying
on?
to stealth in the suit.
Okay.
I just rolled fucking terribly.
Well, because he could easily walk into an alleyway as a person and have the suit on a half a second later.
Yeah.
So it's very much
Yeah.
like Venom style, where it's like, you know.
Yeah, actually. With the buildings that are around me, if I were to go up and just like,
Remember,
flat
this is
on top of the
residential,
other one.
but this is like upper middle to upper class buildings, not like, so these aren't tenement houses. These are like 1-family homes or estates.
oh, okay, so they're only 1 story high.
Some might be 2-story high, but you happen to be between.
Wait, like, are we talking first floor?
Oh, fuck up. This discussion starts again.
But you happen to be between 2 buildings that, because of like you're inside of a city, it's not like there's huge sprawl. You're not in the like upper class area, so there's not much space between the buildings. Like the buildings are, you can stand between them with your fingers outstretched and your arms outstretched, and your fingers won't touch either side, but barely more space than that. You know, you can lean far out one way and far out the other way and still touch both buildings. That kind of spacing, right? It's a city, not a town.
So yeah, the thing that I'm thinking of, I'm throwing it out there to discuss, not saying I'm definitely doing it yet, is climbing up one building, going straight over to the next alley, dropping down, dropping the suit, and just walking away.
Yeah, you're doing Assassin's Creed style. Like literally remove line of sight, pop into prayer mode, and then call it a day.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, since I have the climb speed thingy, I assume I have to roll for something, but not climbing.
No, not climbing. You have a climb speed now. Climb speed's what, 20, 30 feet, whatever it is?
My base speed at the moment is 40, so it's 20.
So it's your climb speed's 20. So you easily run up the side of the building, get onto the roof of it, and of course you're gonna double move, because why wouldn't you? So you dash across the roof. You're not being stealthy, you're just being quick, right? So
the idea is to just basically walk out of the other alleyway so fast that it couldn't have possibly been me that they're chasing, sort of thing.
Yep. So you run up to the top of the building, you dash across the roof, and drop down the other side. Go ahead and roll me an athletics check, acrobatics check, to drop down. Easily beat it. You drop down there, no problem. And because you kind of like step off the ledge into like 2 steps down, and then like jump and poof, you land on the other side. You swift action drop the suit. That's literally 1 turn of movement. I have come to my sword. Jesus Christ! Hello.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Okay, hello, buddy. Jesus.
It's a big sword.
Yeah. If anybody wants to get a hype train going, little amounts will get that thing soaring. Either way, so you, sir, you drop down the other side, easily broke line. So you drop your suit instantly and start like trying to act completely normal. you're trying to act completely normal as they're like, what? Did you just see that? And are going to clearly try to look around to see who the hell did that. So one soldier is going to come running around the other corner as you just like walking by, right? And they're going to be like, they're going to look at you. They're going to pop their head in and look at you and say, hey, as they look at you, just trying to like discern what the hell was going on. You clearly have already dropped your suit. You're not out of breath. All you did was move like a short distance. Roll me a bluff check.
Sure. Okay, that's not bad.
Do you want to modify that?
I think we only have one left. What do you think, guys? I think 17 for this. What do you think?
I mean, go ahead. You committed to the bit, all right? That's what I
Yeah.
say. Yeah, do it.
I'll roll. Yeah.
They go, hey, and you like look over at them, and they go, did you see anything over here?
Don't think so. Like what?
You didn't hear that clattering on the roof.
I heard something. Nothing came in.
It takes like a couple of steps up the alleyway, kind of giving you like you could see they're like boring into you, giving that look like, are you fucking lying to me? You know, as they're walking up there.
Like looking up at where the sound was. Like
These
I
guys
ever
are such American.
So I'm just like, what the?
And then he it's one of those things, he bores into you, like I said, for a couple moments. Then he looks up overhead and he goes, here? You only heard it on this roof.
No, actually, so we were looking at me like,
Actually,
something
sir,
there as well,
I
I
was
think.
fiddling myself in this alleyway, and so I was only paying very minor attention. It's rather embarrassing to admit, but I'm sure you can understand as a member of the state.
fucking hell, Neil.
He looks at you like with no nothing to like
Oh,
get you.
no.
He's like, oh, I've got a dead rat.
Look at this.
here."
Look at this fine brickwork.
Oh, moving on.
Such
So-
architecture.
So, anyways, when you point to the other side, and he's like, over here as well, he looks up at the other roof, and then gives a nod and says, "You see anything? You say something." And then he backs out and starts walking around to look around the other alleyway as well. And you actually hear like a couple of seconds later on, "Help!" as he calls out somebody else. Apparently, all the alleyways have people inside them.
I'm just gonna head back because unfortunately this is a lost one, I think. So I want to get your guys' opinion about what to do now.
I don't know. Things went to shit while I was on the phone, huh?
There's at least a connection now where hopefully, because I paid for a lot of rounds for them, that Anton will recognize me in at least slightly good faith. I bumped into him and spilled drinks on him, but I also paid for a lot of rounds for their group.
We spilled drinks. Oh dear.
Yeah, look, I rolled terribly. I'm not diplomacy. I can't do diplomacy.
Let's think then. Now is probably the time to take a more direct approach with the gentleman. We know what he looks like, etc., etc. Let's go and ask for him, so that we can have a word with him in private. He'll know what it's about, and it will put him off, but we just need to persuade him that lives depend on his answering, which they may well do.
Yeah, that's true.
The life of the new Yovan here, potentially. The life of your friends and compatriots. Who knows?
How does it work with rank, but not being from the place? You know.
Well, yeah, it's like if it was an officer in the Air Force going to give commands to a soldier in the Marines. It's like,
well, more
yeah, you're a higher ranked person, but like you ain't my boss. You know what I mean? So there'd be a degree of respect and whatnot that you would have. You would certainly bend ear, listen, so on and so forth. But at the same time, it's like, you may outrank my boss, but you're not directly above my chain of command. So I'll pay you respect, of course. And, but at the same time, I'm actually listening to that person. That's what my orders are. You know what I mean? So you guys are not from this province. Therefore, you have no jurisdiction, or at least you do not currently have jurisdiction here. Though we all know what the River King's plans are.
Yeah. Trying to think how we can use the whole bar thing. There's ways to get messages to him, but it's whether they look suspicious and make him come in nervous rather than or starting things good.
I mean, you can be direct with him and say more or less, "Hey, I need to talk to you." And then be like, "I know what happened," you know.
Jake has to disguise self and shows up as this like extremely attractive prostitute, and it's like, "I want to give you a discount. Is it me? Is it me?" Ooh. And then the guy's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get a discount. I love coupons." No.
Yep.
No red light district coupons. No.
Well, I'm not going to rule it out, you know. So we'll see how desperate we get. Eh?
The other,
I am wearing the jeans with the ripped crotch from when the tree hit me.
Why?
Because I'm eventually gonna patch them, but that requires like patching them.
So you telling me you're wearing the jeans with the ripped crotch live on twitch.tv?
I mean, I have undergarments and a sweater that hangs over the spot, but yeah. I'm also sitting.
The other thing is I could straight up talk to Petri Sago to try and get in contact with him. And just say that, you know, he was one of the guards there that day, and we want to.
I feel like
we're
over.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have
just
spent about an
ask the
hour
dude.
just talking about how to talk to
I think that is an option, but I do think that given that he didn't speak to presumably the extremely high up officials that he will have spoken to when they asked him like what went on in that room, and he held something back, that actually going via the normal routes would not work. I think it actually stands in our favor, the fact that we're with the River King, because we're outside of whatever, like if he has withheld it for good reason and isn't a traitor, then we're outside of the perceived net of lies and
true.
Problems, etc.
I
So we just need to pull him into the stables, bend him over.
Well, that's why I was trying to find his
I
route
thought Galen was
initially
going to
so
come
we
at
could
it
just-
as being part of that group that he is in. Like that, he obviously they would have questioned him. He's seen them there. You know, Galen was looking through their memories. I
Oh
thought that was how we were going to come at him.
no, that group is very much meant to be secret.
But how do I put this? You're not divulging information. Like he was talked to by those people. You know what I mean? Like he interacted with him. They questioned him.
Yes, but one thing to note there is, where's her name? Minerve was, the way that things played out, Minerve was in some way, shape, or form meant to be working directly with the Yavin here. And that was the group that he chose not to tell something to. So, showing that I was with that group would be showing I was with the Yavin here, and be the same group he obviously didn't want to tell anything to.
Yeah. We know, you know.
We just need to go talk to him.
What Jake is saying is, if you want to utilize that, you can walk up to him and be like, "I'm with that group too. You fucking lied to us. Answer now, or shit's going down." Like you go the intimidation route.
But I don't want to do the intimidation route because I can't do intimidation.
I think we should all just go and have a chat with him.
Yeah. The only issue I see is, the only issue I see is just where to talk to him and when.
We don't
That's
want to
what
make
I've
him
been
feel
trying to
uncomfortable. We
solve.
literally go to the barracks where he feels safe and ask for him and ask to speak with him in private.
Go to the barracks. We reveal us two now. That's my only problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, to people that are watching. But so what? We were told only to stay secret if necessary. I don't see any significant benefit to staying secret anymore. We were not told you must remain stealthy at all costs.
I mean,
it was
that actually is a good point. And given that the Master of War at least knows we're here, you know, that does. He probably is going to figure out who you two are based on who I am.
It's only a matter of time. If someone comes to see Tesh and he sees us two speaking to Tesh, and they know that there are two other individuals involved, it doesn't take like a -8, an 8 in can work that one out.
Yeah, so that's a good point. Okay, so I guess we're gonna just go over the full suit up.
So you go heading okay. And you go heading over.
Is that what we? I don't want to say for sure. We're all good with that.
Yeah, I'm going to disguise self anyway.
Look like what?
Boris from the school that I went to. He was a year older than me. And he was also going into the military.
Roll your disguise check.
Gotta do that.
As long as we have the papers, it still works for going in, right? I don't imagine papers have like a drawing of us on there.
Disguise self gives a +10, does it?
Is it a 10 or a 20?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a 10, okay.
Nice.
Well, you guys don't accept critical failures, so that's just does that include the +10?
Yep.
Wow. Do you want to modify that at all?
We don't have any luck left.
Are you sure?
You could try.
Just imagine Jake just like walks around the corner with like badly scrawled on like lipstick. Like,
nah, bro. I've got a handlebar.
Hey,
mustache.
fuck.
Handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh, he asked.
I mean, I'll try.
Got you, Jake.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh.
Thank you.
Guys, look at chat. You can see his disguise. I said chat. I meant Twitch.
Yep.
Remember, guys, if I look terrible, you know, you can tell me.
You look great.
A couple of
just there, like.
I mean, like, great. You know, I'm not sure the style suits you, but it doesn't look like you. That's for sure. You know, it's not you. That's what I'm saying about the mustache.
It's like the only thing he remembers about Boris is that Boris has like a mole that grows like on the side of their face over here. So it literally just
Boris
looks
had
like
a handlebar mustache.
He
Okay?
just looks like Viggo with a handlebar mustache and a mole. Otherwise, it's exactly Viggo.
I'll say this much. Does it look like someone trying to put on a disguise? Or does it just look like an interesting choice? Because that's the difference, whether Galen speaks up or not. Because if it looks like it's just an interesting choice, he'll leave it be. But if it looks like someone trying to disguise themselves, he's going to bring it up.
Tess, your internet looks like it's going a little wonky for a second there. But
really?
Yeah.
No, it was Scott.
Was it me?
Yeah, it was fine. He said he wants to know.
I heard everything. Camera was, but either way.
Oh, okay.
So, so anyways, the disguise. I mean, it looks like he has a disguise on.
Okay. In that case,
his color pigment is off by a little bit. His hair is slightly different. But he pretty much just looks like him, just vaguely different.
But what I mean is, it looks like he was trying to disguise himself.
Oh yeah, he has a handlebar mustache. He never had one before.
Yeah, so I'm gonna bring it up. Be like, it does look like you're trying to hide yourself. If it.
Well,
then that wouldn't
to be
bring it up.
clear, it looks like he's trying to hide himself because you know what he looks like. If somebody
No,
else just
okay,
saw
that's
him.
what I was asking.
Oh. No, but you know what he
specifically what I
looks
was
like.
asking.
Like if I see somebody walk by in real life with a big ass mustache, I just assume, they either
Yeah,
don't know
that's
what
why I
fashion
said
is
I was asking whether it looks like it was just a choice, or whether it looks like it was. Okay, then I wouldn't say anything.
You know what A is, so you know the difference between A and B.
Okay,
But if you don't know what A is, you just think this guy has a bad sense of style. Yeah.
Yes, then that's so yeah, okay. Then I wouldn't say anything. I would leave it.
Yeah, my apologies.
It's okay.
So either way, he would come out looking vaguely like barely different, but definitely different, and his blonde highlights. So you start heading to that location. You all garbed up. You got like legit like full Paradel everything on.
What do you guys think?
No.
No? Okay, so wait and just give papers.
Yeah, like if he needs to see it, then we'll show it to him.
Well, we're gonna have to prove to them in some way, shape, or form. So,
okay.
I don't imagine you could just go in and straight up like.
Of course we can.
Okay, I'll have the papers on hand.
Okay, but you're not fully garbed up in your full military
No,
stuff.
no,
okay,
no,
cool.
no.
So you go walking up to the barracks, and as you approach the barracks, again, people don't really think anything of it as you go approaching. The barracks itself doesn't have a guard stationed outside of it or anything like that, but there are people stationed around, for surveying the streets and the area and so on and so forth to protect the Arcane Congress, but not like specifically outside the barracks. So you're walking up to the barracks itself. You go to open the door, and I mean the barracks immediately when you walk in. There's the person that kind of like keeps track of who's coming and going, where it is that they put their equipment, that kind of stuff. They usually have like chests at the boot of their various beds or whatever for a lot of their personal belongings. But you don't have just a bunch of weapons rattling around inside there. You actually have somebody whose responsibility it is to keep these things oiled and honed and et cetera, et cetera. So this is like the area we'd go and kind of like drop off certain bits of equipment that would be handled by somebody else's whose responsibility, most likely in Climë, it is to handle this stuff, right? So anyways, when you go walking in, that's kind of like the area you walk into where you would put down your weapons, and there's somebody that's kind of situated in there literally oiling weapons. You see two of them oiling weapons. They look up at you and just kind of give you like a quizzical look, like, oh, you don't look like you belong here. What are you doing here, sort of a thing?
Hello, boys. We're here to see Anton Ellis. You know him?
Anton. Yeah, thank you, sweetheart. Anton. Yeah, I know Anton. He's I think he's in for the day. And one of them goes, hold on, and like walks over and picks up a sword and looks at it and goes, yep, sword's here. He's still in.
I understand this might be a little bit strange, but we'd like to have a chat with him. Do you think one of you boys could fetch him? I don't want to cause a ruckus.
The younger one, or the one that you originally spoke to, shrugs and says, yeah, sure. As the other one's giving like a quizzical look, like, who the hell are you? Why am I talking to you? But neither of them are in charge here. So one of them just goes over and literally opens up the door and yells, what is it?
Anton.
Legionnaire Anton! You got a visitor!
That's Legionnaire Superior to you, recruit.
Do you say that?
No. But he thinks it.
So the person ends up coming over, ends up coming back a minute or so later, pops their head out. It is the correct person, Tish. And they look around and they go, what the hell's going on out here?
Triss will offer his hand.
Okay.
In the traditional military class.
Yeah. He'll take a couple of steps forward and he'll take your hands. But again, give us like this quizzical look. He'll take your hand out of respect in the moment, but he's like,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Who are you?
My name's Triss. We were wondering if we'd be able to have a chat with you.
What's this in regards to?
I'm not at liberty to disclose all of the information up front, as there are ears around, but I understand that you have eyes and ears and have witnessed various events over your service. Just a couple of questions regarding that, if you would be so kind.
Oh, I definitely have eyes and ears. but I definitely have not witnessed anything either. Gentlemen, you can have yourself a good day.
Well, if you haven't witnessed anything, I'm sure you wouldn't mind answering some questions then. Unless, that is, you had something to hide, of course, Legionnaire Superior.
He goes, who you with?
Legionnaire Superior. There are certain groups within our fair land that are allowed access to all of the information. There are certain groups. You're not one of them. If you come and answer some questions, we'll be out of your hair before you know it.
He nods and says, "Yeah, I don't think I have any of the answers that you're looking for." He goes, "I'm not sure which publication you're with, which organization you represent, but you can let them know their information is false. I was not at any location on any day, and
Anton
I have
here
no information."
can read my mind. He's going to glance to the other two he's with. Do we take people in for that? I think we do. Now,
The Arcane Congress is just over there.
let's be very clear here, Mr. Ellis. Do you read my mind, or do you answer some questions?
He's intimidation check on this one.
This is where I wish we had some luck. We don't have any luck.
You're always
don't have
welcome
any
to
luck.
always welcome to try.
I mean, rolling a 5 is...
Oh.
Oh, that's better. That's the
That's
savior.
better.
Woo!
That's from Summon Snake. So,
We needed that.
anyways, so yeah, you brain's not working. Sorry. So he goes, I ain't reading no minds. I don't do magic. Who are you? Who you with?
Follow me and I'll tell you. We won't be leaving the barracks. Just the stables, outhouse. That'll do.
Waits a couple moments, and one of the kids off to the side kind of gives like a head nod and holds up his sheathed sword, and the guy's like, "Yeah," and goes over and grabs his belt and
of
belts
course,
his
he's
sword
welcome.
on
Yeah.
quickly.
Tris won't complain.
Yeah.
Whatever makes you feel comfortable, son. He's probably older than Tris.
He starts walking out the door with you guys.
Tris will fall in next to him. He doesn't want to make him feel too uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. What do you lead to?
Thanks. Presumably, like I say, there is a stables here.
Yeah, of course.
Or some such, yeah.
Mhm.
If there's a stable hand, tell him to take a hike and we'll just have a chat in there if that's...
Mm-hmm. So he'll be like, "What the hell is this all about?" He goes, "I haven't seen anything, so I don't know why you're asking me questions." You guys can roll an insight or sense motive, whatever, if you'd like.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on then.
Oh, yes.
Gallon, you know for a fact it's him. You know for a fact you saw
Yeah.
something. But more importantly, because it is a concern with how memories work, is he telling the truth? Did somebody actually wipe his memory of the sorts or something of the sorts where you wouldn't be able to get information? And that's like a
God, that's
genuine concern
terrifying.
of yours.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they even mentioned it in the thing.
Yeah.
That they wiped the ones that knew something, which was one of the reasons why we're going for this, because they didn't know he knew something.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily for you, with that 26, you can also tell he's playing this very close to the chest. He's definitely hiding something.
Perfect. If at any point I can catch Tris's eye while we're walking, I'll give him a nod just to sort of insinuate, yeah, he definitely, there's something going on.
Okay.
Tris will find some form of seat, hopefully. Stool,
Yeah, I mean,
bucket.
Yeah.
He wants to sit down to relax the situation a little.
There's also a little built-in almost ledge for sitting and putting your boots on and taking them off, or putting
Yeah,
your
he'll
heel
have a
on.
perch. He'll have a
tie him
perch.
up, yeah.
Cross his arms.
Yeah.
I'll also remind you, I have the papers ready for when you want to give them to him.
Mm-hmm.
So you wanted to know who we work for. I'll put it bluntly. We work for a powerful individual from another area of Peridel. Is that enough for you, soldier?
He waits for a couple seconds and he goes, "Shit, they got intelligence on this, don't they?"
Not they, just us. We haven't given that intelligence yet, and it can stay that way if you cooperate. Do you understand?
He will nod but says nothing.
Galen here, he believes that you know something about what happened to the Yovan here. We'd like to hear everything that happened in full detail, in full truth. If you cooperate, we will keep your name silent, and we will only divulge information that we believe is necessary to save lives. Does that sound agreeable to a principled soldier of the Peridel nation?
Why are you doing this shit on my day off? Oh, God damn it. Yeah. Let's work through this so I can tell you exactly what I don't know.
He'd look to Galen.
Yeah. On that day, you told others that you hadn't. So what was the wording? I'm just going to say that there was nothing more that you saw, but you were lying. You did see something. At some point during the assassination, you saw something. Something you chose not to tell.
That's right. The day of the assassination, I was visiting with family and friends. I walked in on my cousin plowing her husband. It was quite the sight. I wanted to push it out of my mind, but unfortunately it's stuck there.
I know you were there. And I'm actually going to say what's like how far up the steps he was when they like walked back down. That you were
like unerring detail.
Yeah. Like this what he said. And they walked past and you lied.
How would you know details like that? Were you there that day?
No.
And how would you know
but
that?
I know people who were.
People like who?
People
Legionnaire
like the ones you lied
Superior. Do you remember the previous conversation about mind reading? I think all of this comes above your pay grade. If you would answer the questions of Galen kindly.
Why don't you guys go ahead and Galen's trying to play good cop. Go ahead and roll me a diplomacy check, Galen.
Can I assist with intimidate?
Of course you can.
Since we're doing good cop, bad cop.
Well, it's a good positive, but I rolled terribly.
Unfortunately, you don't aid him. He gets the bad cop to work. You don't provide aid to his bad cop, though.
Yeah.
He kind of nods and goes, "All right, listen. I don't need the AC up my ass. All right? Yeah. Okay. I maybe saw something.
We just want to know what.
I heard the ruckus going on in that room. Understand, I'm just telling you this because I have a date with this incredible lady, and you are going to get in the way. So I'm just telling you so you get the hell out of my hair so I can go and enjoy my day. Understand this?"
Fair enough.
I went into the room to check and make sure that they were okay because I heard a ruckus. I opened the door and fell. But shit, it's hard to explain this. I didn't fall down. I fell up. Like literally, I opened the door. I'm holding on to the doorknob. And then all of a sudden, I'm flipped upwards. My feet are above my head. I'm dangling towards the ceiling. And I'm holding onto the doorknob for dear life, trying not to collapse onto the ceiling, which is down, or I don't know. I look across the room and I see the most... They're fighting. There was this scrawny guy. He could move across the ceiling, the floor, whatever, no problem. Was throwing these glowing things. I saw this woman. She was in fine Perrin armor and had a big axe in her hands. She could not move so unerringly, but she was dangling herself, holding onto one of the pedestals inside there. I saw the Yavin here, literally standing on the ceiling like it was nothing. Before I left, everything shifted again. I fell upwards, which was now downwards, which was the original. I fell to the floor. And I saw the Yavin here again. But the way that he landed from the ceiling to the floor, he knew it was coming. He did so with more grace than anyone else there, at least as far as I saw in a quick moment. I got out. Almost immediately after that, the battle found its way into the hallway. We're talking seconds later. I don't know, 30 seconds, 10 seconds. I don't know. It found its way into the hallway. And that's when the sword was thrown. The Yavin here fell. Things went sideways in the anti-study. There was the explosion of like a darkish kind of... Everybody died. And the person down there just disappeared.
I'm gonna sense motive, because Galen would be sense motoring this entire thing.
So there were just two individuals that fought and killed the oven here.
No, there was the one that threw the sword too. There was the scrawny one with the glowing
balls.
things. There was the woman with the axe, and then there was the other one that threw the sword.
3 individuals. He'll glance to the others like, this confirms the camp we found, you know.
It also confirms what I saw in a memory of one of them throwing something like a glowing knife and then teleporting to it. So, but yeah, I'll nod to Tristan. Thank you.
He goes, I don't think you understand. I don't think you understand what I saw. What I saw was, are you out here? You hear a lady's voice call. Hello? As footsteps come round to the stable. And you see a woman kind of come into to view. It's hard to make out her details at first because, of course, light behind her. You're inside the darker stable. She goes, I was told you might be out here. And you guys kind of like all look in that direction to see who it is. And he cuts off quickly and then looks up and he goes, oh, yeah, sorry. I got pulled aside for a moment. I'm coming though. And 2 of you recognize her.
Tell her you'll be a minute.
I was about to say, I know who this is. Fuck.
2 of you recognize her from the library.
I do not trust her at all. She
That's
smells.
interesting, yeah.
She smells like a gem. She's getting information. Way more information.
Yeah.
She's clearly.
So Viggo tells him to tell her to give him a couple of minutes.
So you say, ask for a few minutes. Like, what do you say?
I say, tell her give us a few minutes.
He kind of looks at her because she can clearly hear you. Like, give that look. Like, you know, that look that's like, do you mind? And she says, "Hey, wait a second. I know you." And she takes a couple of steps in. She goes, "What are you lot doing over here?"
I'm sorry, I don't think I've made your acquaintance before. As my friend said, though, if you would be so kind just to give us a couple of minutes, and then we could get to pleasantries.
He looks at the group of you guys as you ask that question. He goes, "How do you know her?"
No, I don't know her. That's what I'm saying.
Kind of like a half roll of the eyes, but then looking at the other two. And she chimes in and says, "We bumped into each other at the library."
Tris will look at the two of you.
We did. If you wouldn't mind, though, my friend here bumped into this gentleman, spilling his beer, and well, he wasn't very pleasant. We'd just like to get that out of the way.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up because that wasn't even brought up until this point. So, anyways, she kind of like looks about the room and says, "Are you okay?" to the LS, and he looks and he says, "Yeah, I'll just be another minute," and she'll turn and walk out.
Tris will say to the LS when she's out of earshot, "Thank you. Sorry to delay your date."
And sorry about that, by the way.
You were
You're
saying,
I thought you looked
You're
familiar.
saying we don't understand. You're saying we don't understand.
Oh, yes. You were saying, elaborating on the room.
yeah,
and the
please
flank.
finish.
So I wasn't there. I didn't see anything. I don't know how many organizations, how many individuals, how many groups, how many reporters, how many spies. I don't listen.
Boy, do we
I
You guys
have
are gonna
a
lean
sucker.
in. He leans in and he says, "I don't think you understand. You seen your prince attacked, and you fled. You're about to go on a date. I think some of the same questions are going to be asked. You don't know anything. You were watching your cousin's wife get fucked by your cousin. Correct?
Actually, I think it was his cousin's husband got
that's-
fucked
yeah.
by his cousin. Yeah.
Could you roll me an intimidation check?
You can. I'm not good at it, though.
No, that's you, baby. You're the one that said the line.
Yep. Straight then.
Do you want to try to?
yeah.
Hey. There you go.
Hopefully the weight of the words get to him, though.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
also the building moment and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just kind of like hangs his head and he's like, "Listen, he wasn't defenseless. He was fighting back. I mean, for fuck's sake, he could have been winning. Literally, the ceiling became the ground and then reversed, and it didn't affect him. I swear I saw him jump into it. He looked like he was in complete control of the scenario. But then, I don't know, maybe one of them got a lucky blow. Maybe just 3 was too many. I mean, I don't know if you've ever gotten a
You
fight
think?
with 3 people. He goes, listen. He wasn't helpless in there.
Listen to me. Whether he was helpless or not, you left your prince and he died. If I were you, I would keep that knowledge between you and us.
Nods, says, yeah, that's been the plan. The whole time.
thank you for your time and for sharing
Indeed.
even the last part. We'll make sure it gets to the right ears, and we won't mention you by any form of identifiable information. You keep this close to your chest, son, and I think you'll get out of this unscathed, okay?
Nods. It's like, yeah. Shit. Listen, I'm gonna go
Remember,
try
just the AC isn't just gnomes, my friend.
say that. He goes, I know. I've seen this. I see him come and go all the time. He says, kind of like pushing himself up off the wall as conversation's changing. He's like, I see them come and go all the time out of the their guild house over there. Mostly gnomes, of course, but others as well. Certainly some Perrin, too. There's this one Perrin that just arrived literally this morning as I was popping out of the barracks to have a smoke. I saw him come walking in, delivered in quite the fancy carriage, but either way, it was there's all sorts of people, all sorts of places, aren't there?
Indeed.
Just to clap him on the shoulder and say, stay safe.
Mm-hmm.
He
Enjoy
just
the
says
day.
as he turns to leave, he says, "Don't drink tonight. You're got into a bit of trouble last time you drank."
He goes, yeah, I'm still recovering from yesterday anyways. Listen, he's into music. I'm going to go bring her to a performance. She's a sweet lady.
Sounds lovely. But he then thinks better of his words and doesn't say it and smiles.
All right.
Enjoy.
Cool. And
Thank you,
so,
and enjoy the date.
yep, he comes walking out. As he meets up with her, she's outside the area. They come walking by one more time. And she does not look back at you guys as you know, you kind of walk. It's not one of those like, no.
Can I say anything motive on her about whether she was off-put by running into us again, especially in this situation?
Sense motive from that moment, sure, why not?
Yeah. Oh, that was so close to a 20. It was like 20, nat 2.
You couldn't get any read off her.
Yeah, that's fine.
As they're walking away, Viggo kind of almost lets out that like what is it? The
Oh, pardon me, sorry.
how do I put it? You know, like when your friend goes home with someone and you kind of like, you know what I'm getting at?
No, and you kind of like
I
Kinda
do,
call
actually.
out to him. It's like when your friend like picks up and you know
No.
he's going, you kind of like,
attaboy!
yeah, you know, Viggo lets one of those go as they're walking away.
Yeah. Again, it's one of those moments like clearly was having a fun time talking to somebody at the bar, and they're actively leaving the bar together. And you're like, or it's even was get it, Chris. You know, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So one of those bromance, you know. Either way,
You know.
cool. You guys go walking. What do you do from here?
Time to go talk about what we learned, I think.
Okay. Well, you can honestly just stay here and talk about that. Nobody else is around.
We did send some away.
Yeah. Empty stable. You just have Tristan walks over and starts petting horses. Like he's the evil villain with the cat on his lap. Like, so we've discovered something else. But it's
We
like
have.
it's so tall, you just see his forehead on the other side of the horse. It's like stroking above his head.
With this, I'll remind them about the wounds that I saw in the memory. The fact that the wounds almost seemed like they were redirected, or like they were nowhere near as damaging as they should have been for the types of blows they were and stuff like that. And I'll also remind them at one point in the memory when
Wait. Let's go back.
Okay.
Be close to the Congress here.
I'm not
That's
sure the
settled.
inn's a particularly safe place to talk either, though.
Probably not, but I want to put some distance in between us and them.
Fair. Okay.
We alchemists don't. Let's say we have a unfriendly rivalry.
Indeed. Transition at the end.
Yep. Go ahead.
So, at one point in the memory, Giffon tried to detect the types of magics that we use. And he did so in that room where they fought. And it was blinding. It was everywhere.
So either the prince could use it himself, or the others could.
Well, I know one of them at least used similar magics, but nowhere to that scale.
That was after the battle took place. Lots of spells and things can be cast. Not exactly sure how your abilities work, Galen, but you did say the room. It's turning upside down.
There was also
from what we
the
hear,
trap.
it sounds like the prince was in control of it.
Yes.
So the prince was one of yours,
No.
or at least knew what you know.
Apparently, but I'm I'm pretty sure that at least no one I knew knows that the prince could do that.
I see.
Well, doesn't that make sense? The Tarumba in this locale needs to understand magic. A prince located in this area, put in the position by the Tarumba, wouldn't it make sense for that one of the three to do that decision? Like, I don't know what sort of magic it takes to turn things upside down. Surely it's powerful, but it doesn't seem to have much of a semblance to yours.
Also,
No
Tarumbar
one-
doesn't put a prince into place. It's
Yeah,
actually,
I know.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Okay. No one I know had powers, the magic ability on that scale.
Yes, but that also, no one you know. I mean, the prince knows a lot more than we know. So this,
True. But
Well,
it
well
is something
Tesh,
to
you
be
do
noted.
know that obviously Abstergo 13 was incredibly powerful, but Abstergo 13 was also a recent discovery. Like all this is
Yeah,
new. So it's not that just nobody you know has power at that scale. This is all new. Like you were a part of the cutting edge. That's like
Yeah, so, okay,
that's like
I'll-
developing a nuclear warhead and then realizing that someone else has like, a fusion bomb.
Yeah. Okay.
you
good
look
point.
at it from
So
Viggo's
to-
perspective, though. He's a prince. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't know your stuff, so he's like,
That's why I'm
have
trying to
these
explain
abilities.
it now. Yeah.
So I'll shut up. Sorry, Tesh.
To clarify, our abilities, this new magic, it's new. We are pioneering these abilities. It's part of the reason why I am experimenting with these, and he'll show one of the crystals. I'm one of the first. I assume I'm the first that could make the crystal armor. Yeah, so I'm the first that has been able to make the armor I wear, whereas others have other abilities that I can't do, but nothing on that scale.
Maybe the prince had these abilities and didn't want anyone else to know. I mean, it's
That
similar
is what I'm more
to.
worried about.
But what is the worry? You see, nobody but the two of you know that I can transform. I keep that to myself.
What I
if I'm
mean-
questioned about it by superior, I will obviously divulge that information. But unless
What I
it's
mean is the
pertinent-
attackers also knew about these abilities.
Ah,
Because one of the attackers, at least one, had similar abilities to people I've trained with. What if they attacked him because of his abilities?
By similar abilities, you mean magic?
The magics we use are unique. They leave different traces. They work differently than a lot of other magics. At least so I'm told, and from what I've seen.
I feel like
And
to
you,
understand
and
the
secret.
scope. It's easier for you, Galen, but we know nothing really of your abilities, so the things that you're saying can be put to magic. It's hard to make judgment on something I know so little about.
I understand. It's also hard to explain, given that the way that mine manifested, especially, is it works the way it works, except it works differently to how others work. But
I see.
it's not. It doesn't seem so stringent as Arcane Congress magic. It doesn't seem. I know for a fact it works differently. It also has, as I said, a different trace to it. Hence why my Gerfon was able to detect it and be almost blinded by the amount of it that was in that room.
So a different kind of magic, not the same as those used by the Arcane Congress.
Yes.
Hmm.
That's why it's such a secret, why only a few of us are out there being able to use it. It's why I have to be very careful about who I change in front of.
I see.
So,
Surely you're not the first to use these abilities.
So this is the fun part where I decide whether I'm telling them about Abstergo 13.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny too, because you literally would be like, I imagine you'd stop and be like, ooh, in which case Jake should probably roll a sense motive to see whether or not he realizes that it's secrets time.
Yeah.
And eventually he clicks it. I mean, 15, I would say that you know him fairly well, but you should probably roll a bluff check just in case you crush it, you know?
Yeah,
Because he should have a +5. Oh, you beat him by 1.
By 1.
So I was gonna say 1 second, Tesh. So I'd say that he sees you say these words, and there's definitely a moment of pause that at first makes him think that you're contemplating whether or not you should say something. But whatever you say next is said with enough confidence that if you choose to deflect it, he will buy it. If you choose to deflect it.
At this point, he's already made the big choice about whether he is working for the Douanaire or them. So I think what I'm about to say next is a more closely guarded secret than, well, and he looks towards Tristan. I imagine a lot more people would want to kill for it. There is one. The person who we are learning these abilities from. They're old. Very old. How much would I know about Abstergo, actually? That's a good point.
Abstergo is very honest.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's
like not to a fault. It's not a flaw of his. he's wise, so he knows when to not speak. It's just he's very honest because the information that he offers so openly and freely, he honestly just does not care if other people know it. He wants the understanding of the mistakes of the past to be known, which is why he's willing to share it. But at the same time, he is so removed from the world that he's willing to play along with some games of secrecy just to make sure that the people that understand this world better than him right now help to disseminate the information correctly. The fact that he may be tied on to the wrong group is a different conversation, but he's a very honest, blunt person.
So I think what I'd say, because these are the sort of things here I would have asked.
Like, how old are you?
Because I wouldn't have asked everything.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Eons.
So I would say he's older than Paradel. That he was until recently trapped, or was it was like he was trapped on the temple, right?
By obligation, but yes.
Yeah, so he was until recently.
He wasn't physically trapped. He was trapped by obligation.
No,
yeah.
Trapped nonetheless.
Yeah.
What I would say trapped, because that's all that really needs to be said. But that he didn't leave, talk to anyone else. That's the important part of it. Until recently, he was trapped and freed. Soon after that was when we began learning from him.
Right, and this person who's older than Paradel herself, what is he, a dragon?
He was created.
As a dragon?
No. No. I didn't push much further than that, but he was created. And
right, but what is he?
I mean, I wouldn't know, I guess, because it's not. It's like
if you ever asked, "What are you?" he would say, "I'm an Abstergo 13." Like, I am Abstergo 13. He'd be like one of those. Well, do you like? I understand that you're saying that that's what you are. Do you have a name? He'd be like, well, there is only one of me, so why would I need a name to differentiate? You know, like again, again, very blunt.
He is what he is. Yeah, he was created.
Like if there were a second Abstergo 13, perhaps then I would need to have a name to differentiate myself.
He looks Perrin, right? Or at least sort of Perrin.
I mean, yeah.
So I would say he is what he is. There's nothing like him. He does look Perrin, but
he looks Perrin, and he's thousands and thousands of years old.
He just nods. These abilities that he's been teaching, no one else should have them.
You can see, like, there's so many gears turning in Varix's head. He looks at you and he says, this magic is of his creation. He created it.
It's not of his it's the magic he uses. And how would that answer? Because he doesn't. He didn't create it, right?
No, he didn't create it. He's not. He's not even the. But those are probably questions that you never really got out of Abstergo before. But the short version would be, he'd be like, I don't. You know, it's not a magic that's created. It's a magic that's mastered.
Yeah,
it comes from within. So, you know.
No, he didn't create it. It's part of the reason why he can teach it to us. It comes from us, but as I said, no one else should know about it.
What makes it new magic? Right, bear with me on this one. I'm not magically inclined, but there's a type of magic that the Arcane Congress uses, and I'm not that stupid. I understand it's called the Arcane. It's where they get their name from. But there's another type of magic you don't see so often that is given by the gods, by creatures that are thousands of years old, thousands upon thousands of years old. what's the difference between the magic that are high, well, healing priests? What's the difference between that and this?
Your abilities granted to you by a god.
No. As I said, it was taught, not granted. It's the reason why I meditate, the reason why I try and focus. It's brought out from me, from my mind. Whereas, from what I know of arcane, there's incantations, runes, somatic elements. It works very differently. Even when casting the spells from, and he like pats his cloak, it's very different.
So you meditate. But don't then folks pray? And really the difference between that is worse.
When I focus, I put a part of my mind aside to continue that focus. I separate it to maintain that. It's not quite the same as praying and trying or to pray to a god.
Whatever you have is different.
Yes.
We don't have the time to work out how at the moment, but it leads back to the question of this. Did you say what his name was?
I would have said it. So yeah, this Abstergo.
This
13.
Abstergo 13. He teaches you how to awaken it within yourself. So if there are others that are using this power, he has either taken on more students or there is someone else teaching.
That is why I'm so worried about this. The fact that there was already one of the assassins using this magic worried me, but this even more so.
What's wrong with the prince using magic like this?
It's not the prince using it, it's the scale that the prince used it.
So he's more powerful. He got to be a prince somehow.
If he
I
had
think that's the
these
issue at hand
abilities
for us.
on this
I think
scale,
I think the issue is that there are others who are using these powers that are not Paradel and that are harming Paradel using them.
Well, you guys do know that who that person is that used it before. You know that it is Yondis Elitlin, right? And Yondis, you guys know, is a Perrin noble. So you actually, or at least highborn. Not noble, I'm sorry, like high merchants, right? Like you know that is somebody of significance. So it's not like it's
he wasn't taught by the people.
But he's not with Paradel now. That's what I mean.
So he's also not with Paradel either, right? Like there's no warrant out for his arrest.
That's how he was taught. Yeah.
But I assume the people that I knew would know that he trained with Abstergo or something like that, if that was the case, because they were hunting for him, Minerve and the others. That would have come up if he had gotten training from Abstergo.
They did not mention whether or not he ever received training from Abstergo. So
this brings it back to the dangerous things. This brings it back to the dangerous thing of there are factions at play here that are against Paradel. Like they took out a prince using this magic. They're not serving the princes, the Tarumba, serving Paradel.
Correct, but you're saying people not of Paradel, but so I just want to make sure I draw a clear line. That doesn't mean he went to Eustace or to Silencio or to the Dale Lands to learn.
No, I mean not loyal.
If
in that context, you know what I mean? Like they're working against Paradel.
Yep. Could have received the training by the Paradel military to then turn it on its head against the Paradel military. Is my point.
Well,
Go ahead.
in that case, we've succeeded in our main goal. Yes, we know the assassins and how they achieved what they achieved, and we have information about their powers and whatnots, their magic. He gestures towards Galen, like a little bit.
Yeah, I guess I actually
dismissive,
do have a
like,
pretty good description about their abilities. Yeah.
These are things that can be used to protect the River King.
They could,
Indeed.
and I agree with you. I think our main objective here is completed.
So,
I agree.
what's the plan now, BT? Do we hand ourselves in and offer to help defend during the new coronation?
Galen definitely has an in on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would suggest, in my opinion, this information not be shared because, and he looked to Galen. It seems like
Galen
it's
would
something
nod.
that needs to be held close.
Agreed. Unless it's directly mentioned to you, should we encounter the Master of War. I wouldn't know whether the Master of War knows about all this. I assume he would, which is why I'm saying this, unless it's directly approached, the subject is directly approached by, say, the Master of War. I agree.
So now the best thing we can do for the River King is repair any damaged relations by offering to serve.
It's not a bad idea.
We may serve better as observers as well. They have many that serve directly. But if there's something going on, it may be better to come at it from a different angle. If you wish to suit up in your uniform, I won't stop you. You can offer your assistance directly, or we can watch how proceedings are unfolding and act accordingly if needed. Galen could also let the Lieutenant Commander know and the Master of War what our plan is. We'll only act if needed.
I think that's
but I
probably a
put
good
this to the
idea.
both of you. Kristen, if you would prefer to don the uniform,
I think we can simply let them know that we're at their disposal if needed, and that we're going to be at the coronation as bystanders until unless anything happens or if we're called upon.
Yeah, so more or less, I'm digesting this as Jake's saying, and we'll go to Neil answering the question. Yeah, we're going to either approach it directly underneath them or from the sidelines, but either way, we want them to know that we're here and we have freedom to act, so that way we're not being penalized or hunted by acting in a way to be beneficial to them. So if we start jumping out with spells or weapons or drawn or whatever it might be,
that's what
they don't
Triss
go,
was
"Get
about to say.
them!" You know,
Yeah, that's what Triss was about to say.
So go ahead.
Yeah, so that, yeah.
Triss would say, he'd say, I know where my strengths are, BT, and it's on the field in full armor on the back of Carrock. That said, I'd hate for one of you two to jump in and try and help and get lit up like what happened the other night with Galen. It's very difficult to tell who is friend or foe on a battlefield. And in an assassination attempt, I should imagine there's very little room for questioning whether or not they are a friend before you shoot. It would be a grave mistake of the nation to lose you two riddled with arrows.
Kristen, you have my permission, if you choose it, to put yourself under the temporary command of the LT or the Master of War or whatever.
Triss would,
as you both know,
salute.
He'll salute you back and he'll say, as you both know, without my transformations. Did this guy do a different kind of salute?
Yeah, he went.
Yeah. Okay. I thought he did.
He did that one.
I wasn't paying
salute.
attention enough to see him. I just saw him put his hand up, so I thought he was doing a normal one.
As you both know, my strength lies in transformation, and let me tell you, there is no way in hell the Arcane Congress would let me go if they've seen that. I will be better suited in a different approach. However, I think we should let the LT and the Master of War know anyway. Galen,
I agree.
what would you like to do? Would you like to act reserved? They know who you are, and it'd be good to give them a plan. But as for Tristan, I agree. Having him up there on Karok in his full uniform, I think, is the most beneficial thing to the security of the.
I think I agree as well. I think. I also agree. I think with having you and I as bystanders, at least until things happen, or unless the Master of War says otherwise, because my help comes in the form of very unique armor, and at least if they know I'm fighting on their side, they don't need to know exactly who did it. At least not the higher up, not except the higher ups.
Viggo will look to Tristan and say, do the Ruby King proud.
I will do so
again.
gladly. It will be
Absolutely.
good to be just a soldier again. Not that I resent the decision of the Dwayne here or your companion, but I'm not made for that stuff.
No, it will be good to just be.
We all have our strengths.
Yes. Okay. I guess I'm going to start forming a letter to give to
One thing Tris would hear though, he'll hear like a whisper that's obviously meant to be heard. He'll say to Galen, I need you to keep me safe. Okay?
Oh, I've got a little bit of experience of that. It hurt, but I did it. And he's like sort of gesturing to his back.
You get together the letter, saying that, just send it out there, wherever it is. I imagine your characters somehow also spread out throughout the town, go to deliver a letter, whatever it might be. You hear a rumor that apparently the Princess Plaza was opened back up. That it can be viewed again. You're not allowed to traverse in that place, but it can be viewed again. Yes.
That new prince, by the way, is the guy that turned up to the Arcane Congress because it's the safest place for him right now, under the protection of all the magics there. It's also a shift with the new prince being closely entwined with the Arcane Congress and more magically powerful than the previous one, potentially, or equally. But anyway, that's my guess.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely
rather
thinking
good
that
insight.
as well. Yeah.
We should definitely view
that's
the
a very
plaza.
good point.
I think that would be good.
What would be good?
Viewing the plaza.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you can't go into it yet, but you can definitely go over there and check it out.
I'm gonna be right back real quick.
Absolutely. You back right be. So when you guys go check out the plot, so he delivers the letter saying they want to have a word with the Master of War, whatever it is, and gives like this is where I'll be, throughout the course of the day in case they're looking for me. That way nobody comes on to one of those like air raid intercoms and they're like, "Could Galen please report to," Either way, you make your way to go check out the plaza. First and foremost, don't forget. First and foremost, those two buildings that they were talking about potentially demolishing.
They're gone.
They're gone.
And in their place is beautiful, flat marble plains ready to have processions of honor soldiers. I'm sorry.
In their place, actually beautiful, flat marble area with columns that rise up off of them and a nice little roof that sits above. And you can clearly tell that there's something. They look like statues may have been installed in place. There may be statues installed in place, but the statues have not been revealed yet. So the statues still have like coverings over them and whatnot for the great reveal of who the statues are of. You can also see that the actual Prince's Palace itself has been expanded upon. A whole new wing has been added to
Oh, wow.
to it as well as the entire place getting completely facelifted. It looks
I could go with
pristine,
being
brand
a
new.
prince.
You know, there's a whole bit is taken care of. Even there's the area, the dirt and everything around it is so much better manicured. Like they had like the top-notch landscapers kind of come in and do their job, whatever it is. So the whole place just looks so incredibly refreshed. There's flowers everywhere. The whole thing's set up. You can also see the areas where they've laid down the pathways and whatnot that people will be walking on for the actual ceremony itself, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that whole Princess Plaza has definitely been played up with these two huge Colosseum-esque looking, not Colosseum, sorry, like Roman style, like pillared roofed areas, like marble areas, with the statues that are covered facing towards the front door of this big, beautiful building. Again, freshly manicured. The whole area is just open wide and set for the different streets to be able to have people lined up to see how they are and whatnot. And it's said that they're going to allow people back on the roofs for the ceremony itself, so people will be able to see. But nobody will be allowed in the plaza, of course, because you can't have crowds in the area for safety and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's one of the things that you guys happen to notice is how open and beautiful and designed and whatnot it is. Yeah, like a Parthenon. Yeah. I can't remember the actual name of but it doesn't matter. So you're able to see this big open area, the refreshed look. It genuinely looks very, 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 very nice. Sir, what's your face? Jake. Just because of everything that is your background, could you go ahead and roll me an alchemy check? Sorry, an herbalist check, please. You have herbalism, right?
No.
Okay, alchemy check. My apologies. Acropolis, yeah. Yeah, almost like an Acropolis looking place, yeah. Yes, Neil. And I think, what's his face said that earlier? Norway. Cool. So, with your 26 craft alchemy, you're looking about and you're looking at the different, like, you're taking in the sites, you're taking in all the stuff as previously stated. But then kind of like a pattern you come to realize it exists. And you're like looking out and you're like, huh, that's funny that they have that herb. And that one. And that flower. Holy shit, a lot of these herbs and flowers are common alchemical reagents. I think almost all of these are Eustace in origin. Like they're more prolific across of the continent now, because like obviously you would export it and you would grow different things throughout different regions. Like if there was let's say there was something called like thistle wheat or something like that you needed as a common alchemical herb, you're not only going to have it produced in one country, right? You're going to grow it elsewhere as well.
That was the country of origin.
Yeah, of origin, and you're almost positive many of these are of countries of origin. It strikes you as strange. You're not 100% sure on all of them because you don't you don't know perfectly every herb that's ever existed, but certainly a good number of them.
They're Eustace in origin, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
This only reinforces that the new Yovan here is a mage / heavy links with the Congress.
Yeah.
And if he is a wizard or whatever, no, you don't have to be a part of the Congress to actually learn magic, do you?
You just have to get approval of the Congress to be above a neophyte, and then you get heavily watched and licensed beyond being an adroit. So savant are you have to get like extra licensing and training and so on and so forth. You have to pay fees, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And what's the one after that called? Preeminent. Preeminence. You have to routinely go in for testing and so on and so forth, just to make sure that mistakes aren't made. That there's no, because if you slip up, bad things can happen.
Unless you're a prince, then maybe they come to you for testing.
Well, very likely. But that's if you're preeminent, you know. Things like that could be noticed, by the way. If somebody's wearing their AC garb, you would notice, or if they would have some sort of emblem or whatever it is that they don't always have to show, but have to have on hand to show that they have licensing to do these sorts of things. So
I also forgot to mention a while ago, a couple weeks ago for us, but a couple days ago, I mentioned that every day I'm going to the sewer and being like, check if Virgil's there. Nope, back again. Just reminding you that I'm doing that every day.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, this is on me. My apologies. So you go and you check out that plaza. You see everything that's going on there. You see as I described. It looks looks beautiful. You see the herbs. You see that it's fully prepared for the event. But I don't think there's anything else here in the plaza that you want to do. Though I will say, if there's nothing else, you do hear word back from the Master of War. So is there anything else in the plaza area that you guys care to check out or look into? Because you can't go in there.
I'm gonna buy us all sandals.
Huh. That's funny. That's
We're all
funny.
getting sandals.
So you actually go by, and there is.
Before they're sold out, Neil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going in my bag.
There's a vendor you see setting
It's gonna
up.
be a great sandal rush.
There's a vendor you see setting up, and you swing by there, and they don't have their wares or anything out yet. And you walk up, and you're just like, "Hey, can I get 3 sets of sandals?" And they pop their head up from like behind where they are, and they're just kind of like. How did you know I sold sandals?
Everyone will be selling sandals soon.
So listen, I went into this business with my cousin. He told me if I just invest this much, I'll get good returns. You tell me this is a real thing? This is going down?
As far as I know.
How many sandals you want? 3?
Here?
Oh.
Three.
Listen, you're getting ahead of it. I just need you to go around and just talk very loudly about how comfortable your sandals are. You know what I'm saying? Tell them where you got them. Yeah.
Listen, you won't need my business when they see the prince walking around with sandals on,
Are you fucking with me?
Not at all.
All right, I'm going to sell you premium sandals at basic price. Oh, we boys now.
I'm going to upgrade that to premium sandals.
So listen, you're going to want to hire another person.
Oh my god,
You're just bankrupting him. Oh my god, I'm not sure I can watch this.
What do you mean I'm being legit?
We think though, what happens if it flops? This poor bloke,
Look,
he seems nice.
Viggo is very intelligent, and that's what he's discerned.
Actually,
but is
he
he
actually
wise?
does.
No, not
It's a very
really.
good
Not
point.
particularly wise.
He actually has a good point. He does know that the statues are wearing sandals, so
Yeah.
So he's going to sell you some sandals for a couple of copper each, whatever, and then remove a silver piece from your thing. But you can tell, like he told you he's selling you premium sandals, and you put them on, you check them out, you're like, wow, these are actually made really well. These are very nice sandals. All right,
Nice.
No?
They're going in the bag.
yeah.
I'm gonna put
yeah,
that
I've
on
got premium sandals in the bag now.
I can't wait to rock those when we get back to Dwayne here. Or Dwayne, rather.
So when I finally get artwork for Climë, should I have all the characters?
All of us in sandals.
We really should.
I also like the idea of Crystal Gallon just having normal sandals on the crystal feet.
All right. So I imagine he has corns grow off the side of his feet like crystals. So anyways, yeah, you pick up some sandals. The Master of War reaches out to you guys and informs you that he would like to have a meeting with you. But this meeting it's set like early, like before the sun goes down today.
Okay. I would obviously inform the others that I've received this.
I'll get rid of my handlebar mustache for this meeting.
Probably a good idea.
Although Viggo kind of likes how it looks. He's considering growing one.
Oh. Probably got a potion for that.
You
right?
do you.
Oh, it's like that guy from Queer Eye, and I was like, bro, come on, please, please don't. Anyways, so the you would so they invite you to meet with them on the eastern wing of the prince's estate.
Is this the new wing?
It is the new wing.
Oh
Oh,
my god.
damn.
Well, I need to polish
We're
my
not coming
armor.
back, boys.
This is the rocks fall and everyone dies.
I need to polish my armor and iron my uniform.
Yeah, I would fully suit up for this meeting.
It's funny too, because you can imagine Gallon's
suit
like,
is
"Oh, I got
incredible.
you," and he like polishes your armor with the infinite prestidigitation.
Oh yeah.
But you're like, no, I'm doing this the right way. Bust out the wax.
2 hours later.
And then like Gallon's like relaxing, and then Gallon just goes, and it's exactly the same as yours.
Needs to be done. I'm gonna see a master.
Oh, exactly the
It needs-
same? Absolutely not. If it's done by hand the correct way, it's better than your mass-produced garbage, right?
Okay,
Like, you ever
fine,
buy
fine.
3 pairs of the same jeans and none of them fit the same? That's because it's mass-produced. But when it's handmade by a craftsman,
I just thought of something really mean. Gallon wouldn't actually do this. I'm just prefacing this before Scott makes it happen. Just like prestidigitation onto his.
What a monster.
As I said, I would.
Oh my god, I need to go brush
Actually,
Karok
no.
and make sure he's all. Oh my god. Need to braid his hair and his tail. Oh my god.
it's like, what time are we meeting them? Could you have my lunch delivered to me?
Literally. He's not got long. He needs to make it. Oh god.
Then it's like you guys are getting ready to actually, like, you're getting prepared to walk out of the building itself to head over that direction. You're like, my hair, can you braid my hair for me? And that's when you just like, yeah, like little ribbons or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's not bad, okay, but it's not bad. It'll have to do.
Not sure how long his hair is. Did I say?
I have no
I'm
idea.
glad I specifically said that my guy has short hair.
I think his hair's shorter. Yeah.
Bro, I need a haircut so bad. I go to work oftentimes because I don't use product because fuck that. So I go to work and my hair is often just like this. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
You look like a dealer.
I mean, I look like a crazy person. So I've got to.
You're
I
like
gotta go
you're
get a
like the
haircut
car's
somewhere.
gotta get to 99 miles per hour.
My hair is the worst. I have to brush it so many times a day for it to look normal. It just goes. It does its own thing no matter what, unless I brush it like every hour.
My hair's beautiful and lovely, and I love it.
Oh, I'm glad Chloe has you building self-confidence. You know, she's a good lass.
She is.
Yeah. We miss Chloe. We haven't seen her in ages. We assume she's still alive, but
She's at placement right now.
oh, okay.
She's doing. She did a normal day on Monday, and then she's doing 3 long days back to back, 12-hour shifts with like an hour's travel on either side, which is kind of
Ooh.
horrific.
Yeah, that's rough.
Not quite an hour, under an hour, but yeah, it's horrific.
I like having a short drive. I won't lie. I'm literally looking to get an electric car because my drive's so short that it doesn't matter. I'm like, ooh, I can save on, because like even if the car has a range of 180 miles, who cares? It's way less than what I drive. So,
Yeah.
Anyways, so
Are you two both going into uniforms?
Yeah, I am.
bro,
I'm-
one of
'cause
them
I-
went and
'cause I-
got a new uniform to go.
I'm polishing the armor. I'm brushing Karok down. I'm braiding his hair, and we're all gonna be ready for show. But I admittedly am also going to offer my services to the Master of War at this time, so it wouldn't be appropriate for me to not be in uniform.
He gets the proper eyeliner on to make sure he looks appropriately fierce. He needs to make sure that you can see the definition of his eyes, and you know what I mean. He doesn't.
Well,
gets the
yeah,
line up.
a helmet can really affect, the clear definition of your eyes because it puts them in shadow. So you need to use your eyeshadow very carefully to, really make them pop.
Same with glasses. That's why I use eyeliner, to make sure that you guys can see me when I'm wearing my glasses. I don't use eyeliner. At least I haven't in.
I don't believe you have the finesse to use eyeliner.
I haven't. No, I always got put on me. Not even
I
joking.
actually have been able to put eyeliner on myself without stabbing myself in the eye.
Every time I've ever worn makeup, it's been put on me. You know what I mean? Which anytime I was ever on a stage or whatever it is, I obviously wore makeup. So the girls would always come over, and since it was either, well, I did plays as well, but when it was for ballet, like it was all girls. So it was one of them would be like, "I'll take care of Scott," and they come over and help me out.
My claim for success as far as like that sort of thing goes is I had a 5-minute transition from old bag lady to pirate, and I had to do all my makeup myself, including the eyeliner in that 5 minutes.
Nice.
I mean, luckily with a pirate, if you screw up all of the makeup, it doesn't matter.
It's not too bad. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why the pirate was after the old bag lady.
Yeah. But anyways, back to the game. So you would go to meet with the Master of War, get yourselves appropriately adorned, and so on and so forth.
I will not be going in uniform, though. Obviously in very nice clothes, but not in uniform.
So you're going as your noble self, or sorry, your Metahina self.
No, to note, if that's the case, I will also
This is a
go in
danger
nice
pod.
clothes and not armored up, just because it fits with the way we're doing this.
Okay.
So I would go with what he did.
It almost looks like this is your you guys are like diplomats, and this is your bodyguard. Like this is your soldier escort. Anyways, you guys get to the barricaded area where you're not allowed to go past into the Princess Plaza with a bunch of people around, so on and so forth. You got to get to that area. But as opposed to like the area where all the people like pressed up to look at what's going on, because once the banging and the chaos and the explosions and whatnot, once all that stopped, people started to gather up in greater numbers again. There's actually like an alleyway off to the side, like there's also a barricaded kind of like side path that allows you to walk directly to the actual front of the barricade, where there's several guards along the way to stop it. So you go walking up to it, you present the paper or whatever it is that's requesting the three of you to arrive, and they verify all of this, let you along that side pathway past all the crowds of people, and eventually they open up the barricade at the end for you, which is literally just kind of like moving a big wooden, almost like a horse, if you know what I mean, like a sawhorse, out of the way, and allow you to go walking into the open plaza. Now, when you walk into the open plaza, there are very few people in this plaza. There's about 36 of them. Clumps here and there, mostly spread out all over the plaza. They're all look to be pairing either military or other peoples of importance, maybe for like planning or whatever their jobs might be. But yeah, they're rather spread out. This whole area is very, 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 very open. Anyways, you go walking up to the front door of the place. Help me out here. Of the prince's home and estate. And you go walking up, and as you approach the front door, there is a guard standing in front of it. They look at you, and clearly they know that you're here for purpose. You got past all these other things. But they simply say, "Where's your invitation?" Present it to them. They take it, they look it over, they give a nod, and they say, as soon as you step inside, turn right, keep to the wall on your right-hand side, just follow straight through. Eventually, you'll come to another guarded door. Through there is where you want to be.
Thank you.
Door opens up. You go walking in. It's surreal. For you,
Tarek
Tash.
has to wait outside.
I was about to say for me.
Yeah, Carrick, of course, is way outside. He'll actually say as you dismount it and go walking by, because I imagine you're the last one, and he goes, "That's a damn fine steed."
Thank you. Careful, he bites.
Don't
bite, Karok.
He'll chuckle a minute and nod, and he'll actually say, "Is that a Durian?"
Yeah, it's got that blood in it. It's begins with a V. That's where it's from. But that's a good eye you have there.
Yeah, he's like, "Listen, ever since I was a boy, I want it." And I imagine at this point in time, they're waiting for you inside. So you might even have Viggo be like, you know.
Stop talking about the car. Come on.
But that's okay. And you, excuse me, and like go in. And anyways, that gives a moment for Galen, however, who walks in. It's surreal. You've been here before, but because you weren't here before, it was memories. You get
different senses.
You ever get deja vu so intense it almost makes you off balance? Like you almost get vertigo, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't know what you mean. Yeah.
So like you get deja vu so intense, you almost get vertigo. Like you're literally like, oh, this is surreal. Taking in the area where literally the dead body was right there and the people around. But it's like you've been here before and saw that. It's this weird memory that's yours, but not, that you see of that. And you look up to the stairwell and you could see where it was of the person at the, like the turn of the stairs, where they were standing, where you saw them clearly biting their tongue to not, but you just questioned yesterday or whatever, or earlier today, my apologies. You can look around and take in all the different sights of everything. And it's just like, it's this like weird, almost vertical moment. But then when he's like, to pull Tristan in, it kind of like helps you kind of snap back too.
Out of it. Yeah.
And of course he just follows the instruction, turn to the right and follow along the wall. Which you do so, and you start walking along the wall and you start walking into the, no, this is different. This is different. Beforehand, there was a little waiting area or library or whatever it was. This is the area where the crystals were. The room that you were supposed to walk into, where the death was.
That's right, yeah.
There's no longer a room there. Instead, there's a door. There's a few books still with built-in shelves to the far left and far right of that room, but there's no longer the fireplace with the chairs around it and the built-in books around that. On the wall opposite of you walking into that room, there's a door there and a wall there with some decorations. You go over to the door and they said to keep going, so you just grab the knob, I imagine, Viggo, and thinking nothing of it, as Galen is kind of like,
yeah, Galen's really lagging a little bit, like, whoa.
but again, there are still bookshelves like on all the walls, just not in this area, right? And you open the door and you go walking in, and this is where it walks into a hallway that has doors on either side. But most importantly, at the far end of the hallway, which isn't particularly long, maybe like a good 15, 20 feet, whatever it is, you see there's a guard standing opposite. So standing opposite you, guarding that door. So as soon as you walk in the door and you guys get walking in, clearly you catch their attention. And so they give, bring themselves to bear or whatever as you approach. I imagine whoever's last in, likely Tristan, shuts the door behind him. You hear it shut. As that door shuts, if everybody can go ahead and roll me an intelligence save. Intelligence check.
I'm distracted. That actually works. I'm very distracted. I was about to say, if Tris gets a 20.
I was so hopeful that I'd beat you. That would really tickle me.
You beat me.
So you guys go walking across the hallway up to the guard on the opposite side, who simply goes, "What business do you have here?"
We have the invitation thing, don't we? Still.
Mm-hmm. So you hand him the papers. He reads it over and he goes, yes. 1 moment. Goes and opens the door, leans his head in, and says, "Is the Master of War available right now?" "Thank you." He will swing the door open wide so you guys can go walking in. The room that it opens up to, you have to imagine you're kind of inside of a bit of like a large, you all have been to public libraries before, right? We invented them here in Massachusetts, in the town of Franklin. I'm sure it wasn't the first public library in the world, but certainly the first one in the United States. It may have been the first one in the world. No idea. So anyways, the public library, it almost has this public library kind of feel, where it has different seats and very comfortable looking seats kind of spread out with a nice sized couch in the center of it. There are built-in bookshelves all around you, all of the walls around you, built-in bookshelves that stretch
He's
rather...
such a mage and a scholar. He had an entire library East Wing, Bill.
Well, this is...
Gotcha.
This is the Master of War's area, right? So books and whatnot all built all around, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Kind of put all over the place, da 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 da. But also beyond the door that you just immediately walked into, there's also, which is behind you, there's also 5 other doors inside this room for 6 in total. So the wall that you walked into from behind, which has a bunch of decorations and whatnot on that wall, has the 1 door. The wall opposite you has 1 door. The wall to your left has 2, and the wall to your right has 2. You know, somewhat symmetrically designed, right, all across the area. So as you go walking in, you can see that there is somebody that's standing inside the this room here that's kind of like standing up. Probably the one that was just spoken to by the guard that let you in. But you also see 3 others that are sitting around in the one on the couch and 2 on different chairs. They seem to not be with one another. They seem not to be interacting with one another. And looking at them, you can clearly tell these look like representatives from various different branches of the military that have come to speak with the Master of War for one reason or another. But you definitely get the impression they're all officers. Very much you, about the impression you can see it on the uniform, very much you, Viggo, can very quickly identify the ranks and so on and so forth, but that's a non-factor for the moment. So anyways, when you come walking in, the person from across the room says, I believe that is, because you gave all your names, correct, Galen, when you wrote the letter?
I would have, yeah, on that one.
They say, welcome. I believe the 3 of you include battle tactician Viggo Mortensen, and the others.
Just with
Malahina.
Yeah. Viggo would as well.
Galen would as well.
Get it, like, yes, sir.
Yeah, but was it a public library? The Library of Alexandria, which was burnt down many years ago during the sacking of Alexandria? Like, was it a public library, or was that a library that if you knew someone and had lots of money, you could potentially maybe go in and look at? Like, I honestly don't know. But anyways,
if I disappear, it's storming real bad. That might be why my internet was going a little funky earlier, just so you know.
You're fine. So they kind of call out to who that is, and you give a nod and walk forward. They say, the MOW would like to speak to you right now. I imagine that is why you're here. So let's go. And as they go to open the door, they stop and they look back at you and say, Master of War Diamondback likes to be called by the first name. It's informal. It just makes things easier. But please still don't get confused. All levels of respect as required, considering who it is that you're speaking to. Zephyr. Zephyr is their name. And, turn the knob and open the door, and it doesn't squeak. And you can see inside this room that they happen to be in right here is very much a battle strategy or planning room. This is the door that is opposite the one where you guys had met before. It's very much like a war room, like a battle strategy room, with a large ass table that has different maps and whatnot that could easily roll across it. You see many different large scrolls at the end of the table, which could easily be like anchored on one side, rolled out, anchored on the other side, but no such maps are actually rolled out at the moment. As a matter of fact, it looks like based off the curling that one of them is at the end of the table, it's probably very recently curled back up or furled back up, right? We're talking in the past couple minutes with how kind of loosely it is set there. The MOW is alone inside the chamber. They are Perrin in race and are older male. So anyways, as you come walking in, they look at the 3 of you and say, come, sit.
We'll go and do as he says, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
From what I understand, the 3 of you were sent here to look into matters and have... Wait. Your letter said what, Tesh?
Oh, we were sent to look into the assassination and those that did it.
The reason why we sent a letter to him was to provide our...
Oh, sorry. Okay. Our original, we were here to look into the assassination. This letter was saying that we are at their disposal for the coronation to help make sure it goes smoothly.
Yep. He says, as far as I understand, the three of you were sent here to look into matters that were already being addressed. To that, there was almost a fatal end, was there not?
I mean, sorry,
He
I'm
was
trying to
looking
think
at
how I would
Gallon.
respond. Yeah, Gallon would. Indeed.
Answer me this question. Why has the River King sent the three of you in a place very much outside of their own realm?
Well, we know for a fact, like this is me talking meta. We know for a fact that he definitely wants it to be part of his realm, doesn't he? And he's going to know this, so we might as well say it. You put
I mean,
up
the
your hand to say
lieutenant
it?
said it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he definitely knows it.
Is Trista actually putting up his hand?
Yeah, he would put up his hand. He's not used to being in like
Yeah,
the presence
Gallon like
of.
goes to talk and sees Trista put up his hand. Is like,
He'll look and say, yes.
With respect, sir, I believe that Peridale would benefit from greater cooperation among the various princes. As we can see, the loss of a prince is a significant loss, and we are happy to help and serve, sir. Zephyr.
I believe you probably already understand that the Dwayne wishes to protect he would actually say to protect the areas along the rivers, and what that means.
Protect or project? I'm sure the three of you aren't ones that are going to have too much insight anyways, are you? This is frustrating. The amount of financing, the amount of difficulty, planning to set this up just to have someone think that they can walk in and take it. And it is something that they will very quickly realize is not going to be so easily done. Jovincia does not cow to the Dween as much as the other provinces do. You make sure when you return home that it is understood that Jovincia fights war. We don't need to try to be of importance. That aside, that's not why the three of you are here. You've come to try to offer services in this situation. Obviously, there was an assassination as of late, and you're trying to lend aid. I appreciate the insult.
Oh.
He looks again at you and is like, yes?
Once again, sir, with respect, we did walk in here and got what we needed. I believe that you are incredibly adept when it comes to fighting war. But obviously, your prince did die.
When he says that, Viggo kind of like side eyes him, and then he says, "With respect, his name's Zephyr."
Zephyr, yep.
Yeah, Zephyr.
Zephyr. I believe if anything was to happen, it is the duty of all Perrin to protect their prince. I wish to make you aware of more or less of our intentions if anything were to happen.
Nods and says, it is true. Any mark against Peridale is a mark against... Sorry, any mark against a province is a mark against Peridale. I can appreciate that sentiment.
Triss would nod.
The ceremony is happening soon. It'll be announced in the morning that it's happening tomorrow evening. As a matter of fact, the guest of honor has just arrived today. The new prince, or at least the one that is likely to be crowned as the new prince, is here. Barring any problems. You guys can roll a sense motive.
Sense motive. Sense motive.
Nothing there particularly high.
Yep.
Excuse me,
Oof.
17. Thank you very much.
Rolling bad today.
I rolled a
Well,
17.
This guy's got a higher DC than 17.
He says, what is it? They are the prince is here. They arrived. They arrived today. The prince is here, barring any mishaps or whatever, as I said. The secrecy of who is to be crowned is an interesting approach. Nonetheless, it's the one that we're taking. So I will tell you right now, I'm not here to inform you. You will find out at the same time as everybody else. If you're looking to provide aid, I will accept. I would have preferred Jen Mollis had more of her people available, but unfortunately she is off gallivanting in the nation's capital. Apparently she has something of interest or someone of interest over in that direction.
Hopefully I can help compensate for that.
Hopefully indeed. Why is she over there?
Where did he say she was? Sorry,
In the capital.
The capital.
You know why?
No, I don't know why.
Isn't she
did-
hunting?
I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know. So I'm going to say exactly what I know. I don't know why she's in the capital. I do know that she was hunting originally at some stage, hunting the assassins, but I don't know what she's doing now.
Well, apparently she has made her way there and is held up in her facility in the capital. For whatever value that is. I don't know if she'll be returning anytime soon. So I'll have to rely just on your ability. From what I understand, you have unique abilities.
Yes.
What is it that you're offering? What degree of aid are you offering? And for the name of the martyr and... Sorry, in the name of Aravel, could you please relax? He says, looking at Tristan.
Sorry, sir. I would offer my life and sword, not that I carry a sword, but in defense of your new prince and those who are of value to him. The Dween here has done you an insult, and I would seek to rectify that on behalf of the Dween here, if I might be so bold.
He nods, appreciative to your sentiment, to the sentiment of that, and says, I have a task for you. There are many members of the Arcane Congress that will be overseeing this, seeing as Verima, I think it's called. Trumbar Verima is known as the Trumbar of Arcana. Obviously, so since Trumbar Verina is the Trumbar of Arcana, that means that we need to have close relations with the Arcane Congress over here. Very close relations. So there will be members of the Arcane Congress overseeing this transition as honored guests and guards. However, I like to have an eye on those eyes. You are not a member of my military, therefore you may act a bit differently. Your responsibility is to not watch the crowds of people, but instead to watch the mage themselves. See to it that not a finger slips in the wrong direction.
I will do my best. Magecraft is not my speciality, but I can watch hands and lips.
Sorry, I should clarify. Was he talking to all of us or just Tristan?
Tristan.
Oh, my bad. Then I wouldn't have said a thing.
He looks to the two. He looks to the next one that's there, which is Viggo, like expecting him to say what he's offering.
He's asking me to ask what I'm offering.
Yep.
I'm not versed well in combat. My speciality lies elsewhere. I shall do my duty as a parent, and if anything were to go wrong, aid in any way that I could, putting my own life on the line. Yeah, I mean, what else do I do?
Medical's a pretty decent thing. Like if you have,
I'm a highly trained. Yeah, he'd say I'm a highly trained surgeon. If anything were to go wrong,
when you say that, he
med
actually, the highly trained surgeon, you can see the guy like perks up at that and says, capable with both classic and magical means.
I am an alchemist first, sir. I can make potions.
Do you have them on
heal
hand?
magically. I have, and he'll probably say exactly how many he has, which is how many.
Whatever
Tris literally has a potion belt with potions made by you in it as well.
Yep.
Me too.
So you say how many potions you have on hand, and he nods and says, "Interesting. Very well, then you'll also be on inside the Princess Plaza. You'll be nearby in case things go sideways. We already have medical professionals on hands, but considering that they were not put in place by me, I will see to it that you are there to provide aid and make sure things go accordingly." Then he looks to Galen.
Yeah, he'll say yes, sir.
And says, "From what I understand, you're quite proficient in gallivanting across rooftops."
Indeed, I can climb, run, generally traverse extremely quickly. I'm also very accurate with a variety of ranged weaponry.
Do you also whisper the way that Chen Malice's people do? There was that one. Every time I saw him, her, him. Every time I saw him, he would send shivers down my spine. Literally a thing of dread himself. Or do you whisper in minds the way that's, I believe her name is Minerve?
I can whisper communications in the mind, yes. Short
not
range.
Coordinate. He says, but not coordinate.
Not coordinate.
Never mind. If what your talents are is to move quickly and quietly and unseen, then that's where your talents will be. Do what you did before, but this time for me and not against me.
He'll look a little embarrassed when he says the against me part, and he'll just, will do.
You understand what those are out there then? The things you just walked by.
There's immediately, when he's reminded about those things, he's immediately like, it's not even trying to hide, just immediately like nerves.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
He goes, safe, aren't they? They provide a degree of safetiness.
Indeed. He sort of like pauses to like check his words carefully. I originally thought it was just the deconstruction. Now I understand why there was so much secrecy.
It'd be nice to have something like that on the battlefield, but let's put it in a plaza instead.
Yes. There's sort of a conflicted thing. He does sort of agree with like they would be very useful in the battlefield, but he's clearly terrified of them.
Yeah. Case in point.
Yeah.
So he says, and I think the three of you know where you can be useful. Keep eyes from above. Whisper your communications to your commander here. You will be keeping an eye on the Congress, making sure that all of them are who they say they are. There is no organization that is impenetrable from spies or deception. So it is important that we keep an eye on our allies as well as our enemies. And same, should things go sideways and there might be medical treatments needed, we will have you readily on hand to keep an eye to make sure that the proper medical treatment is provided and that one is not a ruse for the other to deliver. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Very well. After this is said and done, when the coronation is over, what is your next plan, boys?
We are to return home.
Immediately.
Was it specified? I don't remember.
No, there's like no urgency.
No, it wasn't explicitly like do this, then return straight after the coronation.
We
Viggo would say,
too much.
Yeah,
It's like when your boss sends you down the street to
manner.
grab something, but you also get a coffee on the way. You know, like
Yeah, you can get the coffee, but if you were to get the coffee and the cupcake and it's you're
Yeah.
taking that.
yeah, taking a piss. You know. So, anyways, go ahead, Jake.
We are to return in a timely manner.
Understood. You feel as though your investigation was fruitful. What did you discover that you think I was incapable of?
I'll actually say we discovered that the sewers were at least the exit point of the assassins.
Is that
I was
all?
spotted there by the. I know that they're called Namameister, right? They
What?
made that check.
What?
The mini.
I know that
mini
they're called
Mason.
Namameister, right?
Yeah. Or like Minison is the little ones, but yeah.
Minison, yeah.
He would say it was confirmed as Rena, the destroyer by the Namameister that lived beneath the city. He would look back to Yalin, who he kind of cut off.
Okay, so he knows about the abilities. I mean, I'm going to be honest with because Paradale.
I mean,
as a whole,
how
in this
much?
guy's
How much he knows is
Exactly, yeah.
probably
So,
limited.
yeah, I know, but
Because
what
remember,
I mean is
Jin
for the
Mollis
sake of-
doesn't serve him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of for the Master of War is very much it's like the Paradel as a whole thing. He doesn't see any individual area as his own, right?
A master
No, he's
of
the
war
master of war for this
Yeah.
province. Yep.
province.
For this province.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. There are 10.
So not with regards to the Dwayne.
I'm
I'm sorry, this is me not understanding the
No,
politics properly.
Yavin here, the Prince of Yavincia. This is the Master of War to the Yavin here.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and right
sorry.
now, they are the de facto prince because the Yavin here is dead.
Right.
But not
Okay.
for only, it's meant to be a very temporary thing.
And they're not even named like de facto prince, right? It's literally just you're gonna deal with the shit.
Exactly.
I'm just going to be honest, and then I'll say I learned more about the abilities of the assassins, what they can do, what people have seen them do.
He goes back straight, and he kind of like you can tell he's alert.
Yeah. Yeah, because if he worked directly under the oven here, I wouldn't want to bring up that part. So I'd tell the truth, saying specifically that we learned their abilities. We learned that I'm going to be honest and say that one of the attackers had similar abilities to what I can to my special talents.
I don't fully understand exactly what it is that you and your people do. But I do understand that there was some strangeness that went on inside of that chamber. I wish I understood further. he says, leaving it open, like his eyes pressing.
I know that as abilities like mine leave unique effects on the area compared to normal magics.
We know that 3 assassins were enough to kill the Yovan here in the palace.
3 assassins would be enough to kill most princes, you can imagine. They're trained in the art of war. They're capable warriors. Certainly Haven was a capable warrior himself. He proved himself as a Metahina to be a very, very capable on the field of battle. So he would have put up a fight, but 3-1 are odds that most people would not be able to defeat unless they were dealing with incompetent individuals. That being, and even then, actually, there's still the lucky blow that can, lay you low. The situation is strange. Damned Jen Mollis, quite the bureaucrat. She's able to stick on the bureaucratic side of Perrin society while accessing my funds from the military side. Interesting. Interesting to say the least. I'd expect to have more of you more readily available for my needs as necessary, considering you come out of my coffers and my budget for the year. But I guess I'll work with you for now.
He'll nod very so like, yes, I'm, as in like the very, trying to think, it's hard to explain type of nod, just like, yeah, understood.
And lastly, before you're excused, understands that when you return home, you will swing by and visit me one last time, or at least my secretary. I'll give you an itemized receipt for all the damages caused by the Dween Hair's men, so that they can be appropriately paid for by the Dween Hair. From what I understand, he has the coin to spare.
Yes, sir.
Very good, sir. Should we ask the Dween here to deliver the invoice by hand?
He looks at you.
Too informal?
Dismissed.
Theo slides his
Ooh,
chair
you're pushing it.
like one thing over towards Galen, away from
Yeah,
him.
just like it's just a look of shock on the other two faces, like, oh my god.
And with that, we can end our session.
I can just imagine, like, outside the door, just
Yeah,
like,
take a shower.
what? He said informal.
I love that Triss flew so far in the other direction, like just like very much just like a switch. You can only do one or the other.
I'm gonna go hop in the shower, so we're gonna end this up right here. Anything you want to say before we go there, Tesh?
Halo Infinite is coming out soonish. I plan to stream it. I want to try and get Halo 4 and 5 done beforehand, but we'll see how much that's going to happen. But follow me on the Test Tube on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And yeah, keep up to date on all the things.
Beautiful. Jake, Neil, anything you guys care to say before we go?
Not really. I've got like maybe 2 more weeks, I think, and then I'll be either streaming from in hospital or not. We'll see how I feel. Probably not for a few weeks.
I can imagine. I can understand not.
Okay. Yeah,
Sounds
I can
Oh,
definitely.
but
I mean-
actually, that's a good point. That's what I should say, because there's not many weeks left. Let's open Schism. Let's see.
Yes.
That. So, as all of you know, the problem is that you're all regulars and you'll watch the show anyway. Go check out Schism Immolation of Oath and Fur if you haven't already. It's a tabletop game. It looks like fun. I'm excited to play it. It's set in Yavaskir, which I am a big fan of. I played many hours.
The
in
models
Yavaskir.
for that are fantastically detailed. Like
They do look good, yeah.
I was really
I'm afraid
surprised.
it's not going to get funded. I'm so excited for it.
I'm worried as well, yeah. It's 11 days
we
to
need more
go.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
it's a shame.
I wish there was more of like a marketing push prior to going.
Yeah,
but there was. I don't know.
It's difficult.
I don't want to
It's
sit here and say
difficult.
anything negative because I genuinely am excited for it. So,
It does look really cool.
yeah. Oh well. Well, let's get out of here. If you can and want to, go support it. Hopefully, it gets pushed through. Because I really want to play the game. I have a table. All right, let's get out of here, everybody. Have yourself a great day. I'll see you tonight over on Lost Initiative. As usual. Goodbye.